Hi guys, I guess we're live. Namaste, मेरा नाम लावण्या है and welcome back to our weekly Pro Kabaddi live stream. हर हफ्ता मैं और मयंक जो अभी तक ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, he'll join us in about 20 to 30 minutes I guess. हर हफ्ता हम दोनों साथ में बैठ के पिछले हफ्ते की प्रो कबड्डी एक्शन को डिस्कस करते हैं. वो चाहे मैचेस हो, परफॉर्मेंसेस हो, किसने अच्छा किया है, किसने बहुत अच्छे प्रदर्शन सबके सामने रखा है, स्टैंड आउट परफॉर्मर, स्टैंड आउट गेम्स, ये सब हम इस लाइव स्ट्रीम पे डिस्कस करते हैं. ये हमारा 6th एपिसोड है, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. 6 weeks ऑफ प्रो कबड्डी इज ओवर. इफ यू लुक एट इट इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ थिंग्स, 2 महीने हो गए हैं. प्रो कबड्डी ऑलमोस्ट 1.5-ish months आर डन एंड वी आर डाउन नाउ टू द लास्ट लेग. अगर आपको याद हो तो प्रो कबड्डी इस बार 3 cities में, लीग स्टेजेस जो हैं 3 cities में कंडक्ट किए जा रहे हैं. फर्स्ट इज बैंगलोर, सेकंड इज पुणे एंड द थर्ड इज हैदराबाद. द पुणे लेग इज ऑफिशियली ओवर. पिछले जो 2-3 मैचेस थे, दे वर द लास्ट वंस इन द पुणे लेग एंड नाउ द लीग मूव्स टू हैदराबाद. ये हैदराबाद लेग बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है बहुत सारी टीम्स के लिए, एटलीस्ट फॉर 11 आउट ऑफ द 12 टीम्स, बिकॉज ये नॉकआउट्स का जो रेस है इट्स स्टिल वेरी वेरी ओपन. सो हम इस एपिसोड में इन सब बातों के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. होपफुली मयंक विल जॉइन अस इन अ बिट. बट अगर आप लोगों को क्वेश्चंस है या कमेंट्स है इस हफ्ते की पीकेएल एक्शन के बारे में, प्लीज लेट अस नो. द कमेंट सेक्शन इज ओपन. अगर आप किसी एक गेम के बारे में डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं या फिर एक परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं, ड्रॉप योर कमेंट्स इन द सेक्शन हियर. Nihit, oh, okay, we already have a question. What do you have to say about the mid-season slump of Dabang Delhi and how can they recover from it? Nihit, interesting question. I think even the people in Dabang Delhi would like to answer that question. Interesting baat to ye hai ki, okay, before I actually get to that, let me try and put up the points table if possible so that you guys will know what I'm trying to talk about. एक second, I'm just gonna put up the points table. You'll then understand what this slump really really means. Initially जब हम teams की discussion कर रहे थे, then we were looking at Dabang Delhi, which is the defending champion. We were looking at them as serious title contenders because Naveen जिस team में है, it's hard to see that team losing. But I think that one aspect is what has led to Dabang Delhi's sort of downfall, because Naveen पे बहुत ज़्यादा over depend हुआ है इस season. And despite starting off with a very, very good defensive performance in the beginning with Krishan Dull and all these guys performing really well, defense utna acha perform nahi kar paya hai, which is why you're seeing the slump that you are seeing right now. The other aspect, very similar to what Patna Pirates, I think, went through last season and the beginning of this season, Delhi has a three-pronged raiding attack. So you basically had Naveen, और फिर Manjeet थे, Ashu Malik थे. Ashu Malik has still been pretty good, but Manjeet का form बहुत dip हो गया है. He was even benched for a couple of games, and Naveen also, as we see, his form has also dipped quite a bit. So because of this rating, they're not able to perform. A team which is capable of getting you 50 or 45 odd points in every game is now not able to do that. And when you can't, your defense also is underperforming, then जाहिर सी बात है कि what you will get on the points table is more losses than wins. So I think that's kind of where Delhi is at the moment. In a lot of ways, I don't think unki strategy mein problem hai, but they need to execute their plans a little better. They need to plan for particular raiders a little better, which is what other teams are doing with Naveen and all these other guys. So अगर वो ये कर पाते हैं, then we'll see a different Dabang Delhi in at least the Hyderabad leg, and they know they need to do that. Because as it stands, they've slipped in the points table after being like number one for what, the first 3-4 weeks. बहुत ही slip हो चुके हैं. They're in like the second half of the table, which is not great for Delhi at all. माफ कीजिएगा, not very well, so this is going to sound a little croaky. There, I've put up the points table for you to see. अगर आप देख सकते हो तो Dabang Delhi now stands in 10th place, which is so not what we expected from them when the season began. And unki beginning bahut achhi thi yaar. They had 5, if you look at this, they have 6 wins here, of which 5 came consecutively in the beginning. और वो एक win जो था यहाँ पे about a week ago आया था. So that sort of tells you all you need to know about the kind of season Dabang Delhi is having. They now have 8 losses to their name. and these losses have not been great. In so many of them, Naveen ka wo jo Super 10 ka streak tha, wo band ho gaya hai. So there's a direct correlation between Naveen not performing and Dabang Delhi struggling. And Dabang Delhi is not the only team to have this problem. Like we've discussed week after week after week, you see other teams like Bengal Warriors also being very single player dependent. और वो एक स्ट्रैटेजी है जो आज के सीजन्स में एटलीस्ट प्रो कबड्डी में नहीं चल रहा. यू नीड मल्टीपल प्लेयर्स टू स्टेप अप and multiple players to perform so that the team has success. Nihit, I hope that answers your question. दूसरे लोग जो ये देख रहे हैं, please, if you have questions, do drop them in. We would love to discuss, at least till Mayank joins in, because I'm sure he'll have some thoughts about how the season, I mean, how the week of Pro Kabaddi has gone by, at least for the last 7 days. So, as we usually do in this live stream, we start with looking at the standings. यहाँ पे अगर आप देख सकते हो, Bengaluru Bulls, I think, has done really well. Their consistency and the fact that they're just persevering through all of their problems has taken them to the top of the table now with 51 points. Puneri Paltan has had a mixed bag of a week in a lot of ways because they lost a game, they won a game, but then they've also been oscillating between number 1 and 2, and they finished their home leg in second place on the points table, which actually उनके अगर larger scheme of things में देखें तो they won't be too worried about this because उनके लिए they had a few fitness issues. फजल के कुछ fitness issues थे in this week, especially in that loss to U Mumbai, वो महाराष्ट्र derby में, which they lost by like a point, by a point or 2 points if I'm not wrong. So they had a couple of fitness issues, but they roared back in that Bengal Warriors game. So that second place would have been nice to finish on top, but they're not going to be too bothered about that. Bharat के वजह से Bengaluru Bulls, Bharat, Neeraj and their defense, Bengaluru Bulls is sitting pretty on top. Jaipur Pink Panthers का I think एक ghostly game हुआ था in the middle. They had a loss to Patna and then they rode back, if I'm not wrong, against UP. That was quite a game because we saw Rahul Chaudhary. Actually, इस हफ्ते we've seen these old stars like Rahul Chaudhary. Pardeep Narwal को old तो नहीं बोल सकते, पर he's also been a star in the last couple of seasons. We've seen all these guys show us glimpses of what they were before. Pardeep का जो game था quite recently, that against Delhi, we saw him get about 20 odd points. That was the Pardeep Narwal of old. जो कोई नहीं पकड़ सकता था, कोई भी strategy उनके against काम नहीं कर रहा था. Similarly, we had Rahul Chaudhary also getting about 13 points in one of the games this week, which, if I'm not wrong, is also against. Hold on, let me go back and check the matches. And meanwhile, I see that I think Mayank, ek minute, has found a spot to talk to us at. So मैं quickly उनको link भी भेज देती हूँ. So what we were talking about is Rahul Chaudhary. And I think Nihit also has pointed out the same thing. Another interesting bit this season has been the old guard, Pardeep Narwal, Rahul Chaudhary, Siddharth Desai, who's found its form back. How has this happened? Teams didn't take them seriously. Oh, papre. Okay, that's interesting. I can't wait to know what Mayak has to say about this. Hold on, I've just added him on. Nihit, सिद्धार्थ देसाई प्रदीप नरवाल को अगर आप ओल्ड गार्ड बोलोगे तो Rahul Chaudhary is like their grandfather. He's from another time altogether. But that's an interesting point. I don't think teams ever underprepare for these raiders because they're really good in their element. Siddharth ki jo problem thi, it was more of an injury issue. And if you look at his technique, he and Maninder are very similar in the sense that they rely on strength more than flexibility or agility or speed. So it's not that teams haven't prepared for them, it's just that they've found confidence. Pardeep ka jo problem tha, Pardeep's has always been a fitness issue. He's always had a little bit of extra weight on him, which has affected his agility on court, but he's done better this time to be very trim. He's taking his fitness very, very seriously. So we've seen him. Oh, hold on. Mayank is here. Hello, G.
Hi, sorry for being late.
No worries, no worries. We just began. I started about 5 minutes late thanks to the screaming kids in my apartment also. So we've not really lost out on much. Also, wait, before you do anything, I would like you to weigh in on Nihit's question. This is a very interesting question. Another interesting bit this season has been the old guard. Okay, old guard, Pardeep Narwal, Rahul Chaudhary, and Siddharth Desai, who have found their old form back. How has this happened? आप इनको old guard समझेंगे?
Uh, kind of, मतलब द वे दे आर परफॉर्मिंग, उनको ओल्ड गार्ड तो कहना शायद मुश्किल होगा। आई गेस उन सारे प्लेयर्स का जिन्होंने नहीं जी ने नाम लिया है, आई गेस वो सारे प्लेयर्स यंग गाइस से काफी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, सो कॉल्ड यंग गाइस। सो ओल्ड गार्ड कहना थोड़ा सा अनफेवरेबल होगा, ऑल्दो उनकी भावना को समझते हुए, लाइक आई अंडरस्टैंड कि उनका क्या पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है। स्टिल आई गेस दीज प्लेयर्स हैड टू परफॉर्म, क्योंकि उनकी टीम ने उनको फोर्स किया ऐसा खेल के ताकि उनसे परफॉर्मेंस निकलवाना ही पड़ा। बट लाइक कीपिंग जोक्स असाइड, ओल्ड प्लेयर्स को, एज इन ओल्ड प्लेयर्स, आई अगेन डजंट मीन कि ओल्ड बाय एज, एज इन बाय एक्सपीरियंस, उनको खेलता देख के काफी अच्छा लग रहा है, और आई होप कि ऐसे ही कंटिन्यू करते रहे अपने परफॉर्मेंस को।
Absolutely. Nihit, we'll discuss the individual players when we get to the teams in just a minute. But as we said, this is what the points table looks like. Bengaluru, Pune, Jaipur on top. UP Yodhas has been really good this week, thanks to Pardeep. Actually, in a lot of ways, he's starting to find form again. So UP Yodhas is making its way up. U Mumba also, with Guman Singh, surprisingly, now he's back from an injury with one Frankenstein looking helmet, but he's also helping his team really go far ahead in the points table. Patna Pirates, I think, has had a mixed sort of a week in the last couple of days. With I think they had a draw, a
A
win, and a
draw, a
loss.
win, and a loss. All three
Ha,
results
wahi.
in this
All three
week.
results. So they've sort of had like a mixed bag. Bengal also had a mixed bag, very unsurprisingly. Bengal के लिए मैं बस copy paste करने वाली हूँ. I didn't do it this week because we had like a lot to do. But next time, what we recorded in the first week, I'm just gonna like copy paste. It's
You know
frustrating to
what?
see
Like
the same issues.
we didn't do our what prep before the video. So I wanted to tell you about कि बंगाल का हम सेम रखने वाले हैं, क्योंकि the way they have performed और हमने जो बातें करी हैं पिछले वीक्स में, it's all gonna be same. So
Yeah.
even I was thinking कि इसमें और कुछ बात करने से फायदा नहीं है, but yeah, continue.
I know, right? And this is coming from a Bengal Warriors fan, former fan. Now his loyalties have changed to Tamil Talevas. Is it still Tamil Talevas or एक और team मिल गया तुम्हें इस हफ्ता?
I'm still supporting them.
Arey wah. Okay, all right. In a lot of ways, the biggest loser, and I say biggest loser not because of the points or anything, but the biggest loser in terms of where they find themselves in the table is Dabang Delhi. Given how they started, they're now in the 10th place, which is so not what the team's talent sort of warrants. And ये हमने पहले ही डिस्कस किया था because Nihit asked कि ये mid season slump क्यों हो रहा है. And this is a slump I completely expect for Puneri Pulton. I don't know why, but I have a feeling कि ये होने वाला है हैदराबाद के पहले हफ्ते में, जहां पुणे भी थोड़ा डिप हो जाएगा. But maybe this is just a fan thinking, oh, you know what, let's just reverse jinx so that it doesn't happen. Could just be that. But Dabang Delhi's really had a proper slump. Like nothing is working for them. They have the same answers to give when you ask them questions in the post match press conference. So clearly something's not clicking there. Confidence issue hai ya kya hai, we don't know. Or maybe it's just the fact that middle of the season thoda bahut up down momentum ho hi raha hai unme. So that'll be something interesting to watch out this week. You look at Haryana also, they've also had a pretty here and there, but they've had, to be fair to them, their last game that they played saw them being a little more coordinated on the mat, and we'll discuss why this is important a little later. Telugu Titans, as usual, find themselves in the bottom of the table. I think there's no questioning the fact that their fate is sealed, more or less. It's all, they're all but out of the tournament. I don't think they बहुत mathematically they'll have to make their way to the playoffs even if that happens, and that'll mean a lot of the top 6 people performing like they don't know how to play kabaddi. So that doesn't look very likely. But in a lot of ways, this Hyderabad leg is very very important because आप अगर 1 to 11 को देखें, all of them have a very very open chance to make it to that top 6. So how that happens, who will get in, is what we're going to focus on in this week and in the Hyderabad leg as well. Nihit says, wish you luck for Talaiwas Mayank. Ha ha. Not sure what the ha ha means. Okay.
Haha, I know what it means. It means sarcasm.
नहीं पर क्यों? अच्छा ही तो खेल रहे हैं.
नहीं, अभी
I
वापस
don't
से उनका
understand.
मतलब स्लम्प आ गया ना, तो शायद मे बी कह रहे होंगे, आई डोंट नो, विल सी।
But calling it a slump will be a little too harsh. It's just been 2 games. Give it some time. They might, it could just be
या या
key. So, okay, one thing that people need to be a little sort of sensitive to is, so this week was the week after the mid season, like the middle of the season. So one thing that you guys need to know is Kabaddi players need to maintain their weight at least 2 or below 85 kilos.
Yeah.
That is a requisite in PKL. So the weigh-in happens 3 times in a season. First is in the beginning of the season, second is in the middle of the season, which was 1 week ago, last Thursday, and the third is before the knockouts. So whichever team goes through to the playoffs, unka weigh-in league stage ke baad hoga. It is not easy, guys, to play after the weigh-in because a lot of players have to cut weight, and this could be for a number of reasons. If you look at PKL, there are so many body types. For example, Iranians are very bulky but they're short, so unka weight bahut muscle se aata hai. So in their case, they have to lean down. If at all they're above 85, they have to lean down, and cutting weight always comes with loss of muscle mass. So your strength gets affected, your energy level gets affected, just how aware you are, because so much your concentration and your focus depends upon how much energy your body has, that gets affected. Simplest example is Siddharth Desai in week 1. He had to cut a lot of weight. To cut weight, you have to cut food and water, so that dehydration shows on the mat. So a part of the reason why, like Nihit said, Siddharth Desai has found his form back is because it is the middle of the season. They are now in that routine of fitness, be it Pardeep or Siddharth. So now their body is used to a certain energy level. They're able to now play to their full potential because energy एक problem नहीं है. Same way, Maninder, for all that we talk about Bengal Warriors, he's the guy who had to cut 5 kilos in 3 days, okay, between the UP Yodhas game and the weigh-in. And he went 3 days without food and water, 3 whole days. So when we met him in Pune, you usually associate his thighs or his biceps and all are like so bulky, right? Like they're muscular and they're big. He looked so lean that day, man. It's 3 days without water. So all that retained water was out. Face was completely stuck in. But despite that, he performed in the 2 games that they've played this week. So that tells you a lot about sort of where these teams stand. That could be a reason why teams have had a slump here and there or had a couple of fitness issues here and there, because that weigh-in is very important. If they don't make the 85 kg weight, they don't play till the next weigh-in. There's no second chances. There's no question of आज तुम्हारा वेट नहीं हुआ, ठीक है एक दिन बाद आके चेक कर लो. That does not happen.
So
So
these are the
that
things
is, it's a really,
which I didn't knew. So ये काफी
yeah.
इंटरेस्टिंग है
So
ये facts.
yeah, in a lot, that's one of the hardest parts. So we spoke to the coaches and all that, and like there were other reporters around as well, and I'm sure you guys are also checking out stories that everybody is doing on PKL. You will see Manpreet, the Haryana coach, he is not in favor of weigh-ins at all. Apparently he's supposed to have said he wants the weight restriction to be removed entirely, or you have just one in the beginning of the season and then let it be. But you understand the merits for this. It's because you're trying to level the playing field in some way possible, some way you're trying to make things even. Otherwise 100 किलो का आदमी आके किसी को पटक के चला जाएगा, और तुम क्या करोगे? There is an undue advantage there to teams if you don't maintain your weight. So this is a very, very interesting part of fitness. Even Bharat struggled to put his weight under 85 simply because he's tall. He's very lanky, but he's very tall. So all these things come into consideration when you consider a player's performance. Nihit says he had some very troubling experience with the vein, if I remember correctly. Who is he? I don't know who you're referring to.
I guess
अगर आप
he's
सिद्धार्थ की
referring to
बात,
Manpreet
Manpreet had troubling experience with Wayne. Okay, Nihit, please clarify
during
who you're talking
during
about.
his playing days. So I guess he meant Manpreet only. Yeah, see Manpreet.
मनप्रीत है क्या? हाँ, शायद होगा ही. All of them have traumatic experiences with Waynes. They hate it. They absolutely hate the Wayne period. And understandably, you can't eat, you can't do anything. Your energy is completely low. And so he's been in favor of taking it off,
No,
or he's
so
saying let there
Lavanya.
be.
Okay,
Huh.
yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
sorry,
What I
sorry.
was
Go on.
telling
Sorry, I
is
cut you off.
no. What I was telling is I didn't knew that कि ये weightings होता था मतलब इतने regularly और इतना scrutinies होती है. So like you have been in Pune for almost 3-4 weeks. Sorry, 3-4 days rather. So आप बताइए कि एक player कैसे manage करता है, जैसे आपने कहा कि you saw बंगाल्स कैप्टन. सो आपने क्या क्या देखा कि एक प्लेयर के साथ जब ऑब्वियसली उनको एक डेडलाइन आ जाती है कि यू हैव टू वे इन बिफोर दिस डेट, आपको पाँच अपने का 3 दिन में 5 किलो वजन कम करना पड़ता है, तो कितना डिफिकल्ट होता है मैनेज करना एंड साथ में खेलना भी, क्योंकि इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट कि आप टोटल जिम कर रहे हो या फोकस कर रहे हो, खाना छोड़ दोगे, पानी छोड़ दोगे, सॉल्ट छोड़ दोगे, सो यू कैन फोकस ऑन योर वेट एंड फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट, बट यू हैव टू प्ले एट द सेम टाइम। सो ये कैसे, मतलब एक प्लेयर कैसे मैनेज कर रहा है और कैसे कर पाता है, इज व्हाट आई एम आस्किंग।
Okay, so we spoke to Maninder because Maninder had I think if I have this correctly, Maninder had the most amount of weight to lose. 5 kilos he had to lose in 3 days. He's at 90. His usual weight is around 90,
ओके।
and he had to cut 5 kilos to get down to 85. So if you go back to the dates last week, the UP Yodhas game was on Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Tuesday था ना? Monday या Tuesday था पिछले हफ्ते, Bengal versus UP. After that, Bengal didn't play till that Thursday, till that midweek. So from Tuesday to Thursday, he didn't have a game, thankfully. So that
ओके।
sort of helps these players because at least then you're not worrying about, oh God, भूख के साथ मुझे खेलना है. So that issue wasn't there. But the issue that was there is he had to completely reduce food. So I think he was on like a liquid diet. A lot of the Bangalore players were on liquid diets. So basically, no carbs, no fat, no none of that. Maninder had to go without food and water. He completely cut it off because 5 kilos in 2 days is not a joke. So he had to do that, and he said, "Last 1 kilo ही था मैडम जो problem था घट ही नहीं रहा था घट ही नहीं रहा था." And we met him after the weigh-in, after he had like done his weigh-in and everything. And then we told him, "Okay, did you eat anything?" He's like, "अरे मैं अब 6 लोगों के लिए जम के खाऊंगा." So he's like gone couple of days without food, and it's understandable what that does to you. We spoke to the Bangalore strength and conditioning coach who said not having food and water really impacts a player's energy level. So the issue in the week after the weigh-in is to restore them to that level again. So there. Nihit says Manpreet famously lost 10 kg overnight during a quadrangular tournament in Qatar in 2006. Oh God, knowing Manpreet, you can just imagine how much he would have cried for that. हाँ, मनप्रीत के जो टैंट्रम्स है उसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे थोड़ी देर में. But yeah, he's completely against the mid-season weigh-in and all. He doesn't believe it does anything. In fact, he believes it affects his team. In a way, it feels like, look, his team also is not doing well, so I don't think this helps because he's got a number of bulky players, tall players. Jaideep, Manjeet are all tall players. I'm sure they struggle to keep their weight under 85. But it is what it is. There is a level playing field for a reason, and we have a story coming up on these
I
weight
have a
cuts
question.
where, sorry, yeah, yeah, go
No,
on.
I was asking कि players had to reduce or show their weight on the weighing day, and after that, if obviously अगर आपने बोला कि मनिंदर का 90 किलो हो गया था, so during like playing, if the weight increases, then that's not an issue.
No,
आपको बस
that's not an issue.
डेडलाइन डेट
Yeah,
के
that's
दिन
not an
आपको
issue.
85 के अंडर
You
होना
start
चाहिए।
the season on even footing.
ओके।
Yeah,
ओके।
plus see, the issue also becomes you can't put on so much also, no,
या
because it will
करेक्ट।
affect everything. Yeah, so in
And then
irrespective, like a lot of players.
in the next cycle you have to reduce that much also।
Yeah, that's that
Correct।
much more for you to reduce, exactly, which is where the mid-season thing helps. Because ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले like आगे और पीछे कर रहे हैं, मिडिल में भी एक हो रहा है, so you can't put on so much also. But a lot of players say why not move the limit from 85 to 90, because that would help players like Maninder, Manjeet, Bharat, because these players are naturally around the 87 to 90 mark. So that is another argument which I think it's not a bad argument to have, but how the powers that be decide, we'll have to see. 80 to 85 is usually what international standards are. So it'll again depend upon how PKL wants to keep up with the rest of things. So yeah, that is the Wayne story. So a lot of teams have struggled with that this week, but that's over. Ek hafta ho gaya hai. You can't cry about that anymore. What things stand as of now is the league moves to Hyderabad. There, like we said, there are a couple of interesting things to discuss as far as each team is concerned. So shall we dive into each team, Mayank?
या
All right, perfect. Do you want to get us started with Bengal Warriors? Because it's the same thing. एक
you
line
know
में खत्म
what
कर ही
you
देते हैं.
know we will start from Bengaluru alphabetically, and then Bengal ko we can just skip it if you want।
Oh my.
skip as in
Mayank, so if anybody from the Bengal Warriors setup is watching, Mayank is usually somebody who would have happily discussed Warriors. So you've really spurned a fan.
no,
So buck up, guys, buck up, buck up.
for viewers who want to see how Bengal is doing or the in-depth analysis, you can check out our first week, second week, third week, fourth week एनालिसिस एंड फिफ्थ वीक एनालिसिस, यू कैन सी कि क्या चल रहा है उनके साथ. इट्स नथिंग हैज चेंज. अगर एक लाइन में अगर बोलना है बंगाल के साथ क्या चल रहा है, तो डिफेंस नहीं चल रहा है जो कि बीच में चलता था तो पॉइंट्स आते थे. मनिंदर अकेले खेलते हैं. जब जब मनिंदर 19-20 पॉइंट लेके आते हैं, टीम कहीं ना कहीं जीत के कंटेंशन में नजर आती है. एज सुन एज मनिंदर को बाहर रखा जाता है, जो टीम उनके अगेंस्ट प्लानिंग करके आती है उनको बाहर रखने में कॉम्पिटेंट होती हैं, तो वो पॉइंट्स लेके जाती है बंगाल के खिलाफ. दैट्स अ क्लियर कट सिंपल आंसर फॉर बंगाल सिनेरियो is what I observed in the past 6 weeks.
Okay, so we'll listen to Mayank and we'll go to Bengaluru Bulls first. Okay, tell
No,
me, what
so
did you make of Bengaluru Bulls matches this week?
बेंगलुरु बुल्स एंड पुनेरी पल्टन, दे आर द टू टीम्स जो आपस में टसल कर रहे हैं फर्स्ट पोजीशन के लिए. दे हैव स्वाइप द पोजीशन थ्राइस नाउ. पिछले के पिछले वीक में बेंगलुरु, देन पुणे, देन अगेन बेंगलुरु. बेंगलुरु अगेन इज ऑन द टॉप बिकॉज ऑफ द वर्च्यू ऑफ टू विंस, एक तमिल थलाइवास के खिलाफ और एक तेलुगु टाइटंस के खिलाफ. सो काइंड ऑफ सदर्न डार्बी खेला उन्होंने इस वीक. तमिल थलाइवास के खिलाफ जो मैच था, इट वाज प्रीटी क्लोज. आई रिमेंबर जब तमिल थलाइवास के पास 5 या 6 प्लेयर्स थे, आखिरी 2 मिनट में नरेंद्र भी उनके साथ थे, अजिंक्य पवार उनके सेकेंडरी रेडर थे, तब बंगाल के तब बेंगलुरु के पास ओनली देयर वर ओनली 2 डिफेंडर्स हु वर देयर प्रेजेंट ऑन द मैट. लेकिन तब कंपोजर लूज किया था तमिल थलाइवास ने और वो मैच इजीली जाने दिया. जहाँ पे दे कैन गो फॉर क्लीन अप बैक, वो दो के दो प्लेयर लेते तब स्कोर इक्वल होता. और शायद उस सिचुएशन में हमने देखा है कि नरेंद्र इज वेरी काम, तो उस सिचुएशन में शायद वी कैन गिव अ चांस कि बार बार हमने देखा है कि तमिल थलाइवास ऑब्वियसली यंग टीम में कंपोजर कहीं लूज करने की उनकी आदत है. तो जैसे अगेन तमिल थलाइवास में थोड़ा ज्यादा फोकस करने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं, लेकिन पटना के खिलाफ जो हमने देखा जो टाई हुआ था, अगेन इवेंचुअली लास्ट में भी 33-33 हो गया था. तो ये सिचुएशन हो सकती थी बेंगलुरु बुल्स के खिलाफ, लेकिन ऐसा होना नहीं दिया उन्होंने. उन्होंने बेंगलुरु बुल्स ने अपना कंपोजर मेंटेन किया एंड दे जस्ट टुक ऑल द 5 पॉइंट्स फ्रॉम दैट गेम. एंड अगेन तेलुगु टाइटंस, वी ऑल नो कि तेलुगु टाइटंस कैसी टीम है, किस तरीके का उनका उनका परफॉर्मेंस रहा है इस सीजन में. एक अकेले प्लेयर सिद्धार्थ देसाई चलते हैं. सिद्धार्थ देसाई का एक्चुअली बहुत अच्छा रिकॉर्ड है बेंगलुरु बुल्स के खिलाफ एंड ही कंटिन्यूड. इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, ही टुक 16 और 17 पॉइंट्स. आई हैव टू चेक एग्जैक्टली कि उन्होंने कितना पॉइंट्स लिया था, लेकिन ही टुक मोर देन 15 पॉइंट्स फॉर श्योर. और उनका शायद एवरेज 13 से अबव है अगेंस्ट बेंगलुरु बुल्स. ही केप्ट ऑन विद दैट. लेकिन डिफेंस इज द मेन प्रॉब्लम फॉर तेलुगु टाइटंस. तेलुगु टाइटंस का एक हमेशा की तरह उनका एक जो अप्रोच है कि वो पैचेस में आते हैं. मतलब अगर उनके डिफेंस इतना खराब खेलेगी कि आप कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते, एंड देन एट अ सडन मोमेंट उनके पास 2 प्लेयर्स होंगे, दे विल कीप ऑन डूइंग सुपर टैकल सुपर टैकल सुपर टैकल. सो ये टॉपसी टर्वी साइन ग्राफ नहीं काम करने वाला और काम करता भी नहीं नजर आ रहा है. सो 2 मैच खेले, दोनों क्लिनिकल विंस कहूंगा मैं, क्योंकि तमिल थलाइवास के खिलाफ भी इवेंचुअली क्लीन अप एक्ट था एंड में. उन्होंने 5 पॉइंट्स लेके गए, टाई होने का जो चांस था उसको किनारा किया एंड दे आर सेटिंग ऑन द फर्स्ट पोजीशन. काफी बढ़िया से, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं नजर आ रही है इस टीम में प्लेऑफ्स जाने के लिए. टीम में जो खामियां हैं और जो टीम में क्या काम नहीं कर रहा है, आई गेस लावण्य आप इस पर कुछ कहना चाहोगे?
Yeah, I don't think team में काम नहीं कर रहा है. I don't want to say that, but what has not been working for them is Vikash Kandola. He's had a very quiet season compared to his standards, which is why it's interesting to see कि रणधीर सहरावत ने नीरज नरवाल को वो सेकंड रेडर के तौर पे अच्छा सा ग्रूम किया है. If you look at the matches that they've played this time, Neeraj has 13 points against Telugu Titans, and I think against Tamil Talaivas he had like 6 or 7 points if I'm not wrong. So he's had to play that support act to Bharat, and I think hands down we can say so. Aaj Hyderabad mein, because the leg has moved to Hyderabad, there was this press conference with all the coaches. Like they had basically they got all the coaches together, and these guys were talking about the season and part of their publicity and everything. Wahan pe, when all of the coaches were asked ki who is the standout performer for you this season, like who's really impressed you, from Ram Meher to Bhaskaran to everybody, all of them said Bharat. And you can understand why. Bharat is single handedly dealing with all of the raiding responsibilities in Bengaluru Bulls. And given that वो पवन सहरावत के बाद आ रहे हैं लीड रेडर के एक रोल में, to say that he's matched up really tells you a lot about what a character he is. So Bharat's had a really lovely run in this season, and वो दिख रहा है because Bengaluru is winning on his shoulders. So
Yeah.
I think that works for them. शुभम जादव सेज जब बेंगलुरु बुल्स और पुनेरी पल्टन का मैच होगा तब पता चलेगा असली टॉपर कौन है. सही बात. But again, one team, if only one team or one match could decide who is the better team. In a lot of ways, शुभम, ये बहुत क्लीशे है, पर एंड में जो ज्यादा जीत सकता है शायद वही असली टॉपर होगा. अगर इन दोनों के बीच फाइनल हो गया तो बहुत मजा आएगा. देखते हैं अगर वो होता है कि नहीं. Mayank, why have we lost you? I can't hear you or see you. I'm not sure what's happened to Mayank. We'll quickly check and give you an update. But yeah, sahi baat hai. I think what works for Bengaluru is the fact that Bharat has had a brilliant season so far. रणधीर सहरावत ने मुंह तो लगा दिया ये बोल के कि इस सीजन में भारत को 200 पॉइंट्स आ जाएंगे रेट पॉइंट्स में. एंड ही इज, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, एट अराउंड द 122 120 समथिंग मार्क, 120 130 मार्क में, समवेयर अराउंड दैट. एंड गिवन दैट ऑल टीम्स हैव एटलीस्ट 10 गेम्स लेफ्ट, आराम से हो जाएगा if this form continues. But it's insane. Bengaluru Bulls is one of those teams that have been riding on young talent, and Neeraj also. Because हम भारत के बारे में इतना बात कर रहे हैं, let's not forget Neeraj's contribution. It's not just in raids; he's a very handy support defender. So जब defense कोई tackle करने जाता है या फिर कोई combination tackle करने की कोशिश करती है, then Neeraj is a very important cog in those strategies. So I think he's been a very interesting part of Bengaluru Bulls' strategy. And that becomes really important when you look at how the team has performed in the last couple of games. So I think that's kind of where we are right now. Mayank, are you back?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I took you off because like I completely lost connection from there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, so nothing. I was just like, Neeraj and Bharat have been two talents that we can look for. I think the defense can be just a little cleaner, especially. I think this applies to all teams. Do or die raids jab aate hain, then defenders need to understand that the do or die raid is for the opponent. It's for the raider and not the defender. So your work is just to put enough pressure on the raider to not give him a point. सो तुम्हें इतना आगे जाके कोई एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल टैकल करने की जरूरत है ही नहीं for you to get that point. And these are, I think Gujarat can learn this, all teams can learn this. This is something that every team can sort of put in their heads. Just put pressure enough on the raider to deny them the bonus or a point, and they'll make mistakes on their own, especially in current situations. Bengaluru tends to give up points like that.
Yeah, very
So
correct.
I hope that stops. Yeah, bolo.
No, नहीं, I was telling कि आपने जो बोला is very correct, and at the same time I'm very impressed by the way how Neeraj is playing. रणधीर सिंह सहरावत ने उनको ग्रूम किया एंड ही इज नाउ परफॉर्मिंग फॉर देम जो जो जैसा उनको लग रहा था, क्योंकि विकास कंडोला से उम्मीद बहुत ज़्यादा थी. उनको काफ़ी अच्छे प्राइस पे भी शायद लेके आए थे या थे भी, तो उन पे काफ़ी खर्चा करने के बावजूद वैसा फ्रूटफुल रिजल्ट्स उनमें मिला नहीं है. लेकिन नीरज नरवाल रेडिंग के साथ साथ डिफेंस में भी आप देखोगे कि तो उनके दो तीन हर मैच में पॉइंट्स लेके आते हैं. और सपोर्ट अगर जहाँ चलिए पॉइंट्स आपको तब मिलता है जब आप एक डिफेंस को इनिशिएट करते हो, लेकिन मल्टीपल ओकेजन्स में आपने देखा होगा या नहीं भी देखा होगा तो मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि वो हर बार सपोर्ट रीडर्स जैसे अमन हो गए, सौरभ नंदल हो गए, इवन समटाइम भरत भी डिफेंस. सॉरी, आई वाज बैक स्टेज फॉर अ मोमेंट.
Are you back?
हाँ, या
Yeah.
नो, सो व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग इज कि सबका कंट्रीब्यूशन डिफेंस एंड रेडिंग में आने आने से ये टीम काफी स्ट्रांग लग रही है. एंड जहां तक डिफेंस की बात की करी जाए, आपने सही बोला कि दे कैन बी मोर क्लीनर. ऑल्दो सौरभ नंदल, अमन हैज बीन ब्रिलियंट. मयूर कदम अगेन थोड़ा उनका वापस से परफॉर्मेंस उतना आ नहीं रहा है. ऑल्दो टीम जीत रही है तो आई डोंट थिंक इट मैटर्स अ लॉट एज फार एज टीम इज विनिंग.
Absolutely. So they have an interesting sort of a run left, and if they continue this way, then like you said, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होनी चाहिए उनको playoffs में जाने के लिए. So that is Bengaluru Bulls for you. We have a few interactions coming up with these guys. Hopefully, अगर ये cold निकल जाए तो 2-3 दिन में that will be available for you guys to read as well. शुभम जादव says इस सीजन बेंगलुरु बुल्स में ये पता चला कि विकास कंडोला नेक्स्ट सीजन रिलीज होंगे और उस 1.7 करोड़ से पवन रिटर्न आ सकता है.
कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरीज चल रही हैं यहाँ तो.
यार, I don't know how to address this. I'll be very honest with you. I don't think Pawan is coming back to Bengaluru Bulls. I don't think that's going to happen. Two point. This is ये बुमराह जोफ्रा आचर वाली बात ही हो गई ना. You buy them for so much money. He's barely come through for Tamil Talevas. If they have the option, they might just play him again next year in Tamil Talevas. क्यों नहीं? And again, that depends on what Pawan wants
I
also.
don't think अभी पवन एग्जैक्टली नहीं पवन आ भी जाएंगे तो अब कहाँ खेलेंगे I'm joking just because की टीम सॉर्टेड लग रही है उनके बिना भी
Yeah, but like,
okay
look,
nothing
Pawan
to
in any team is
disrespect
an
but still
automatic starter. He's an
obviously
automatic
no I
starter.
was joking at this
Yeah,
moment
yeah. But yeah, अच्छी thought अच्छी है शुभम. विकास की release. Look, there's I can't claim to know strategies. None of us can claim to know team strategies, but knowing Randir Sehrawat, the वो इंसान ऐसे हैं कि प्लेयर्स में थोड़ा ज्यादा ही इन्वेस्ट हो जाते हैं. सो अगर लाइक फॉर इंस्टेंस भरत की जो अगर हम बात करें, लास्ट सीजन जब पवन बहुत अच्छा कर रहे थे और हम उन्हें प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में पूछते थे कि आपको क्या लगता है कि टीम में कौन अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है, पवन की जगह वो भरत की बात करते थे. एंड यूज्ड टू बी लाइक तुम सबको सिर्फ पवन दिख रहा है बिकॉज वो पॉइंट लेके दे रहा है, बट यू डोंट रियलाइज जस्ट हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट भरत इज. ही इज डूइंग द सेम थिंग टू नीरज दिस सीजन. ही इज telling us about the utility of Neeraj at the back and things like that. And with Pawan, we know very well what he's done for him in his career and like how much Pawan has improved under Randir Sehrawat. So Vikash, I think, enjoys the coach's confidence. It's just that uska form ठीक नहीं चल रहा है. Release हो गया तो he will probably find a team. I mean, वो Raider अच्छा है. There's absolutely no issue. We've seen how he was second half में जब उनका performance perk होता है, then we see how quick he is. Multi point raids लाता है. So quality की कमी तो है नहीं विकास में. अगर form इस leg में अगर if he can find it, then Bengaluru becomes a better unit. Undoubtedly.
शुभम जादव इज टेलिंग कि जब बेंगलुरु बुल्स एंड पुनेरी पट्टन का मैच होगा तब पता चलेगा असली टॉपर कौन है
Yeah.
सो बहुत जल्दी इसी
I
वीक
don't
आने
believe
वाला है 20th नवंबर को
I don't believe that though. Like this is like saying Dabang Delhi UP Yodas who's better Pardeep or Naveen. The problem is you're not catching them at their best. No, both of them
Yeah.
are at different stages in the season. So it's a
But
nice thought.
as far as match is concerned, पहले
Yeah,
मैच में नाइन्थ पहले ही वीक में हुआ था तब फजल नहीं थे तब नबी बख्श नहीं थे उनके
yeah,
बिना
true.
दे लॉस्ट 39-41 टू बेंगलुरु सो
And
बेंगलुरु हैज
why?
द अपर
Why
एज
did they lose? If you remember, if you remember,
again yeah
how
momentum
that game
thing
was.
which aslam again he started picking up points in a flurry and then
Yeah,
उन्होंने एक टाइम आउट लिया था and then they lost the match so
yeah,
it's going to be a good contest इसी वीक होने वाला है so check out that vlog as well
no doubt, no doubt. Okay, so we've discussed a lot about 20 minutes for Bengaluru Bulls. क्या यार? Okay. Do you want to do Bengal Warriors quickly? जल्दी खत्म हो जाएगा
Bengal
simply because of
Warriors
that. Copy
okay
paste from
so
2 3 4. Okay.
no Bengal
अगर
has yeah,
तीन शब्द में बता देते हैं. मनिंदर नंबर 1, नंबर 2
Maninder number 2
पुअर
Maninder
डिफेंस.
number 3
नहीं, वो विन के लिए पुअर डिफेंस, नो सेकेंडरी रेडर, 3 पॉइंट्स. बस हो गया उनका प्रॉब्लम. If you see them
yeah
struggling,
it's actually
yeah,
correct
yeah,
no
if you
like
see
what I
them
was saying
struggling
is
now, it's because their
yeah
defense is just all over the place. Vaibhav Garje was good, Girish Ernak was good. Now they're not consistent. Vaibhav is making insane errors, very simple insane errors which you wouldn't associate. बहुत impulsively खेल रहा है. But what needs to be noted again is Surinder Nada. There was this one game, God, I just don't remember which game this was. Uh, in the beginning of the week, who
against
did they play?
against
Yaar?
against
Gujarat,
Gujarat,
I
if I'm
think.
not wrong.
Yeah,
46
against
27
Gujarat.
they won.
Ha, against Gujarat, they had like an insane game where I think Surinder Nada had what 2 or 3 points, 3 points. पर उस गेम में
But
सुरेंद्र नाडा
yeah,
सबसे बात कर रहे थे, सबसे बात करके
hmm.
he was coordinating the defense. He was whispering things in Maninder's ears about the opponent defense. So to see, and there was this one ankle hold where it looked like the raider would get to the midline, but then he just pulled him back, and that's it. There was no question of him making it past there. I think these are moments that Bengal can live for, but they can't live on moments like this. ये एक 40 minute match में ये क्या 30 सेकंड का मोमेंट है ये. You can't survive with these moments. You can't survive on the back of Maninder getting you 13, 14 points. That does not work.
But in
So
this
if they go
situation, if you
ahead,
look at no, if you look at the replacement, they brought him in for गिरीश शर्मा, जो कि
yeah,
बहुत ही अबिस्मल रन चल रहा है उनका. मतलब जिस जिस स्टैंडर्ड पे थे वो मिड ऑफ द सीजन, आई रिमेम्बर ही वाज अ टॉप डिफेंडर. और
yeah.
उनके बाद उनका जो स्लंप है 0 0 0 0 0, तो
He's
उसीलिए
had an injury also बीच में, कुछ छोटा सा
सुरेंद्र
इंजरी हुआ है उनको.
सुरेंद्र नाडा को उसीलिए लेके आया. एंड इट्स नॉट अबाउट ऑल द 3 पॉइंट्स, इट्स अबाउट द इफेक्ट, इट्स अबाउट द प्रेजेंस. आपने देखा
Yeah,
होगा, तो वो जो आप जिस डिफेंस की बात कर रहे हो, जिस टैकल की बात कर रहे हो, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर किस किस पर था. इधर चंद्रन रंजीत पे था, किसी और पर था. लेकिन जिस जिस मतलब वो क्लासिक सुरेंद्र नाडा हमें दिखा कि वो जो एंकल होल्ड जो पकड़ते थे, पकड़
yeah.
के खींचना. सो या अगेन दोस मोमेंट्स, वो मैच तो चलिए वो इजीली जीत गए, क्योंकि वन ऑफ द वीकेस्ट डिफेंस के सामने खेल रहे थे. अगेन उनका बंगाल का खुद का डिफेंस भी बहुत वीक है, बट डिफेंस इस सीजन में मैक्सिमम टीम की प्रॉब्लम रही है, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think, yeah, defense has become a problem for so many teams like Delhi, Bengal, all these guys. But yeah, their problem again comes also from the fact that I know Shrikant Jadhav has been crucial with 6, 7 points here and there. But जैसे असलम के पीछे मोहित है, yeah, now Naveen, even though he's poor with his form, he's got Vijay Malik back. You need these guys to step up. Deepak Nivas, Huda, and Shrikant Jadhav need to step up. इतने में तो नहीं चलेगा भाई. 4 पॉइंट, 5 पॉइंट, चलो आज मन हुआ तो पॉइंट लेके आए. दैट डजंट वर्क. उनकी रोल्स आई थिंक नीड टू बी अ लिटिल मोर क्लियर. बंगाल को गिरीश को कवर खिलाना चाहिए और सुरेंद्र नाडा को कॉर्नर पे, क्योंकि गिरीश पुणे में कवर खेलते थे. सही बात, पर गिरीश को एक इंजरी है, विच इज वाई वी आर नॉट सीइंग हिम दैट ऑफन, एंड दैट अगेन लीड्स मी टू थिंक मे बी हिज फॉर्म डिप बिकॉज ऑफ दैट in the middle. I'm not sure what the exact nature of the injury is, but he's been sitting out because of that. But हाँ, सही बात है. I think Surinder Nara is a natural choice in the corner, and he's good there. Like he's able to strategize from there. Team की एक जो defense का एक look ही बदल जाता है जब वो corner खेलते हैं तो. So that's not a bad option at all. शुभम, let's see अगर बंगाल ये बात सुनती है. When do they play next? If I'm not wrong, they play sometime soon, right?
बंगाल
Bengal.
बंगाल इज प्लेइंग
Hold
टुमारो
on.
अगेंस्ट
कल
तेलुगु.
खेल रहे हैं ना, या अगेंस्ट
या
तेलुगु टाइटंस. अरे वाह, नो बेटर गेम टू रीगेन फॉर्म. And this is an unfortunate thing to say, but yeah, I hope they give this out. If Girish is fit, let's see how they play him or what role they give him in the defense. So that is Bengal Warriors. ज़्यादा कुछ बोलने के लिए है नहीं. Bengal Warriors as things stand are in, I think, 8th place, right? With
हु
6 wins.
बंगाल, या
Bengal Warriors
बंगाल,
8th
या
में ना, 6 wins, 5
थर्ड
losses, 2
थर्ड
ties.
स्ट्रेट वीक थर्ड स्ट्रेट वीक वो 8 पोजीशन पे अपने आप को मेंटेन कर रहे हैं. मैंने लास्ट वीक ही बोला था
Yeah.
इनको 8 पोजीशन को ज्यादा ही पसंद आ गया है, तो वो हारेंगे जीतेंगे, कुछ भी करके 8 पोजीशन पे फिनिश करेंगे.
या सो आई मीन उनके लिए अच्छी चीज़ यही होगी कि जस्ट 2 places ऊपर चले जाएं तो दे विल मेक इट इनटू द नॉकआउट्स. बट given that all the other teams around them like UP Yoddhas have improved, U Mumbai has improved, so they can't afford to settle for anything less than that. Okay, so that's looking at them.
टॉकिंग
अगला
अबाउट
किसके
बैड
बारे में?
डिफेंस, we can jump to the next team, that is Dabang Delhi.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Dabang Delhi. Uh, your thoughts? Abhi, like, I was talking to Nihit about Dabang Delhi earlier, so I'll start with your thoughts on this itself. Tell me, what did you make of Dabang Delhi's games this week?
See, I had spoken to Ashu Malik. मैंने अपने आपसे पहले भी ये बात करी थी कि the way he was talking, he himself looked confident. तो what I पर ये 2 वीक पहले की बात थी, तब उनका 5 में 5 लॉस हो चुका था, but still he was like वो 5 में 5 इतनी जल्दी लॉस आ गया, तो उनको भी वो ग्रास्प करने में टाइम लग गया कि अच्छा हम इतना खराब सिचुएशन तो नहीं हुआ है, उनका ऐसा लग रहा था उस समय. इज व्हाट आई अंडरस्टूड फ्रॉम दैट कन्वर्सेशन. अब दिक्कत क्या है, इस वीक में आप उनका परफॉर्मेंस देखोगे, सो आई गेस ये वीक को वो भुला देना चाहेंगे. मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूँ, दे प्लेड 2 गेम्स, वन अगेंस्ट जयपुर, वन अगेंस्ट यूपी, और दोनों मैच में दे गेव 50-50 पॉइंट्स. जयपुर तो 57 पॉइंट्स, यूपी 50. इवन यूपी एंड में उतना, एंड में रिमेंबर कि उन्होंने थोड़े पॉइंट्स लूज करे थे, वरना वो भी 57-60 की रेंज में ही देख रहे थे. So you can see, okay, there is one stat ki Dabang Delhi against UP Odhas had two tackle points in the first half and four tackle point in the second half. आप ये सोच लो ये कितना खराब रन चल रहा है उनके डिफेंस का। मतलब डिफेंस में उन्होंने अब मन एक रेडिंग, अगर रेडिंग की बात करी जाए तो
Oh, hold on.
मंजीत को,
Also, when you're
या
saying that, please remember कि यूपी योद्धास के अगेंस्ट सुरेंद्र गिल नहीं था.
एग्जैक्टली,
So this was
या आई वाज
primarily Rohit
एग्जैक्टली,
Pardeep.
यू नो
Yeah.
व्हाट, नॉट इवन रोहित प्रदीप, वो they played 5 or 6 raiders in that match. वो सबको खिला रहे हैं। आई डोंट इवन रिमेंबर ऑल द नेम्स। आई रिमेंबर जब जेम्स कमेटी आए थे एंड में, आई रिमेंबर उनसे पहले दो प्लेयर्स उन्होंने शायद डेब्यू किया था, पहले ही दो रेड में उन्होंने 3-3 पॉइंट लेके जा रहे हैं। सो मतलब बहती गंगा में हाथ धोना जिसको किसको कहते हैं, आप परफेक्ट एग्जांपल है, आप वो जाके मैच देख सकते हो या ब्लॉग देख सकते हो। मतलब ऐसा वो सीन हो चुका था कि मैं देख रहा था नवीन आशु बेचारे हर टैकल, हर आउट ऑफ डेस्परेशन दे वर अटेम्प्टिंग फॉर टैकल, जो कि उनका काम है नहीं। तो एकमात्र बंदा जो मुझे फॉर्म में लगा, पता नहीं कैसे चल रहा है, विजय मलिक, जो उन्होंने 2 मैच में लाए और डिफेंस तबाह हो चुका है उनके आते के साथ ही स्टिल स्कोरिंग सम पॉइंट। दोनों मैच में उन्होंने सुपर 10 लगाया, बट ऑल्दो ये 2 वीक आई गेस वो भुला देना चाहेंगे क्योंकि ये इतना खराब रहा है। मतलब 57, वेट, 57-32, 50-31, मतलब कोई इंप्रूवमेंट नजर नहीं आया। डिफेंस बद से बदतर होते जा रही है। कृष्ण, विजय, विशाल, रवि कोई काम नहीं करते हुए नजर आ रहे। आई डोंट नो, मतलब एक होता है कि जब पैनिक करते हैं तो आप मतलब आउट ऑफ डिस्परेशन आपका हाथ नम हो जाता है, वैसा सीन मुझे नजर आ रहा है। आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वाज स्मॉल, तो जब एग्जाम में जब एंड के टाइम बचते नहीं थे, सो आउट ऑफ डिस्परेशन मेरा कभी कभी हाथ नहीं काम करता था। आई गेस, आई नो कि किसी के लिए बोरियत वाला एनेक्डोट होगा, स्टिल एग्जैक्टली सेम थिंग इज व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन फॉर दबंग दिल्ली डिफेंस राइट नाउ।
शुभम सेज दिल्ली को संदीप धुल को चांस देना चाहिए क्योंकि संदीप लास्ट 3 सीजन के कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मर है. आई हैव एक्चुअली नॉट, व्हेन संदीप धुल वाज इन जयपुर मुझे उनका टैकलिंग उतना अच्छा नहीं लगा बिकॉज वो बहुत हेस्टिली डिसीजंस करते थे. पर आई थिंक एट व्हाट दे स्टैंड, नो, अभी की जो हालत है दिल्ली का, आई डोंट थिंक ब्रिंगिंग इन संदीप धुल इज सच अ बैड आइडिया. In fact, what might work for them is he has
No,
experience.
they
He has
no
experience.
Sandeep Dhul played in the last game against UP.
Not as
He scored.
much. No, not as much.
Yeah,
His
he
timing,
scored.
doesn't he come
He
in
scored.
as,
No,
huh?
if I'm not wrong, he played in the first 7. If I'm not wrong.
I haven't seen Delhi's last match, but yeah, you're right. If they can give him a longer rope, or rather, like how you have Surinder Nada all playing the full 40 minutes, if that is the case, then maybe for all you know, it might just help. अच्छी point तो है ही. I worried about what's happened to Krishan Dhul. पहले 2 हफ्तों में कितना अच्छा था. We used to talk about how crucial he was in the right cover. I'm not sure what has happened there. जस्ट समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है कि व्हाट इज गॉन रॉन्ग, और लाइक व्हाट फॉर्म ठीक नहीं है, या फिर कुछ हो गया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ जस्ट maybe fitness, or if he's carrying a niggle. I don't know what the problem is, but he's just been very disappointing, as has Ravi Kumar. So, and these are experienced guys. Yeah, Ravi Kumar and all are like very experienced. So I'm not sure what's gone wrong there. But Delhi अगर, and we say this, ये तीसरा हफ्ता है जहां हम ये exact sentence बोल रहे हैं, अगर दिल्ली का डिफेंस ठीक हुआ नहीं, then they can forget about the knockouts. नहीं होगा. They will get stuck there
मुझे
in the bottom.
मुझे फीलिंग्स कुछ अच्छी आ भी नहीं रही इस टीम से अब, गिवन दैट कि डिफेंस इतना खराब खेल रहा है। कोई चांस ही नहीं नजर आ रहा है कि मैच यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट कि अब थोड़ा एटलीस्ट अच्छा आपका फॉर्म नहीं अच्छा चल रहा है, आप डिफेंस में नहीं अच्छा कर रहे हो, तो व्हाट यू कैन डू इज एटलीस्ट अब वेट करो कि रेडर्स आप पे आके अटैक करे, ना कि आप फ्रीबीज दो। मैंने नोटिस किया पिछले 2 मैच में कि जितनी जितनी बार रेडर्स अपने एक्सेलेंस से पॉइंट्स दे रहा था, उससे ज्यादा कम नहीं, अगर उससे ज्यादा डिफेंडर्स अपनी गलती की वजह से रेडर्स को पॉइंट्स दे रहे थे। सो 57-32, 50-30 हर मैच में आप देखोगे नहीं, अनलेस एंड अनटिल दबंग जैसी टीम के सामने हर हर टीम अपने आप को फैंसी करते नजर आएगी अब, जिस जिस हिसाब से उनका डिफेंस बद से बदतर होता जा रहा है मैच बाय मैच।
Yeah, can't deny that. Dabang Delhi is becoming a very easy target for a lot of teams. Hopefully that stops. Since we've, like sort of shit on the defense so much, Raiders की भी अगर बात करें, then Vijay Malik, actually it's great to have him back. बहुत long injury layoff के बाद he's come back. But he's come back at a time when Naveen चल नहीं रहा है. So that becomes a worry because it can't be okay, Naveen नहीं चल रहा है तो एक और इंसान आके like 13 points, 14 points लाएगा. In Delhi, the attack, because the defense is so bad, you need all your three raiders to run. Raiding पे ही चलेगा अभी ये team. Maybe if that happens, then the defenders get some confidence. कि ठीक है, it's not entirely dependent on us. हम still manage कर सकेंगे. So Manjeet not being in form, Ashu also is getting points, but not so many points. He's still around that
या
5-ish, 5-6-ish mark, which is not
उनको
enough.
उनको उनको ब्रीडिंग में भी बहुत कम मौके मिले हैं. अगर आप नोटिस करोगे तो आई रिमेम्बर अराउंड 35-36 मिनट उनको सात सात या छह रेड्स मिले थे पूरे मैच में. अगर आप उनको यूटिलाइज ही नहीं करोगे, आई एम नॉट टेलिंग कि उन्होंने बहुत बढ़िया प्रदर्शन, बहुत तो प्रदर्शन कर दिया, ऐसा नहीं है. बट अगर आप अपॉर्चुनिटीज की बात भी करोगे तो भी मतलब आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि आपके कौन से प्लेयर्स चल रहे हैं. विजय मलिक, यस उन्होंने 13-14 पॉइंट लिए हैं, लेकिन कौन से कंडीशन मिली आप देखोगे तो हर समय टीम 20-20 पॉइंट से डिफिसिट में है, तो सामने वाली टीम भी बोनस देने में कतरा नहीं रही है. मैक्सिमम पॉइंट विजय मलिक के बोनस में आए हैं. आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग द फैक्ट दैट ही इज अ क्वालिटी प्लेयर. उनके आने के बाद एक्चुअली मंजीत ने जो गैप अपने प्रदर्शन से छोड़ दिया था, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे से फिल करके कहीं ना कहीं अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया. बट एट द सेम टाइम ना नवीन चल रहे हैं, ना आशु चल रहे हैं, और डिफेंस तो आप देख ही रहे हो क्या सीन है. तो इट्स लाइक प्रीटी मच समड अप कि क्या
Yeah,
चल रहा है
see,
उनके
that's
साथ.
precisely why I won't criticize Vijay for getting bonus points. And we spoke about this in terms of Naveen also
No,
a
no,
couple
no,
of
no,
weeks
no, no.
back.
Don't think as a criticism on Vijay Malik. What I'm telling is
Yeah.
situational. अगर situation को आप देखोगे तो points कहाँ से आए is what I'm telling. I'm not telling कि
Yeah.
he didn't perform or something on those lines.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. And Shubham actually raises an important point. अगर आप comment देखोगे तो ये बोलते हैं कि दिल्ली में एक ऐसा प्लेयर नहीं है जो गेम रीड करके
Very
गेम
true.
को चला सके. लास्ट सीजन दिल्ली विन हुई क्योंकि मंजीत जीवा, जोगिंदर और संदीप नरवाल जैसे एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर्स थे.
So true.
एक्सपीरियंस की कमी दिल्ली में खल रही है. Yeah, that's correct. And it also does not help that Naveen is your captain because वो खुद नहीं चल रहे हैं. So to put him under the kind of pressure of needing to sort out your own performance plus team के लिए सोचना, शायद is something that this team needs to rethink. बहुत सही बात कि experience की बहुत कमी है. But अगर आप, I mean, now जो है तो है. So how are you going to manage from here? Like experience को पकड़ के हम बैठ नहीं सकते ना. So they need to figure out how to get out of this. Krishan Dul, I'm sorry, not Krishan Dul, Krishan Kumar Hooda इतने साल से इस टीम को संभाल रहे हैं. दे नीड एन इंटरवेंशन, दे नीड टू फिगर आउट व्हाट दे कैन डू. अगर नवीन पे ज्यादा ही कुछ इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है, देन गिव द कैप्टनसी टू समबडी लाइक इवन अ संदीप धुल कैन टेक इट ओवर एंड फिगर आउट व्हाट ही कैन डू टू जस्ट फोकस ऑन हिज फॉर्म. नवीन को होपफुली इस हफ्ते थोड़ा घर से रीइंफोर्समेंट आया है. ही इज गॉट लाइक अ बैच ऑफ घी फ्रॉम होम एंड सम स्वीट्स एंड this and that and all. I hope he can just replenish himself, just switch off for a while and come back and perform well because this team, he's the Maninder of Dabang Delhi. वो चले नहीं तो Delhi नहीं चलेगा. So the easiest thing one can expect or the easiest thing one can hope will happen is Naveen gaining form, which seems to be the only way to rescue this team right now. So देखते हैं अगर वो होता है कि नहीं इस हफ्ता. I guess that's all one can say about Delhi. Sorry, I got muted. Anything to add, Mayank?
Nothing to add. I guess we have covered all the bases
Right.
as of now.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Who is next in the points table? हम
गुजरात.
दबंग दिल्ली रैंडमली चले गए हम.
नहीं नहीं
जयपुर की
नहीं
बात
नहीं,
करें?
हम रैंडमली नहीं गए, हम अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर में ही गए हैं.
अल्फाबेटिकल जा रहे हैं क्या? ओह अच्छा, ओके. ऑल राइट. सो हुज नेक्स्ट? डी
हाँ
डी डी हो
हाँ.
गया.
तो अभी
जी है क्या?
गुजरात. गुजरात.
गुजरात. अच्छा बाप रे. ओके.
या
वेट व्हाट हु वाज आई लुकिंग एट? हाँ, गुजरात.
अगेन बैड
ओह
डिफेंस का
गॉड.
जो स्ट्रीक है कंटिन्यू. नहीं, खराब डिफेंस की बात करें जाए तो ओके जस्ट ओके. आपको डिफेंस में क्या नजर आता है इस टीम में? आप जस्ट मुझे नाम गिनाइए और बताइए कि आप कौन से प्लेयर्स को देखते हो कि हु कैन पोटेंशियली टेक गुड टैकल पॉइंट्स एंड लाइक चेंज द कोर्स ऑफ गुजरात. जस्ट रैंडमली फर्स्ट थॉट में क्या नजर आता है इस टीम में?
Look,
आई गेस
their
आपका
defense.
एक्सप्रेशन इज एनफ. योर एक्सप्रेशन इज एनफ टू सी व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन विद देम.
No, so look, the issue again comes back to there's multiple problems here. One, they've removed, not removed, they've taken Partik from his role. He's an all-rounder, पर पहले वो डिफेंस में बहुत ज्यादा रोल्स निभाते थे. अब उसको सेकेंडरी रेडर बनाया गया है आफ्टर राकेश. I understand where that's coming from, but you have Shankar Garai not that effective. You have Arkam Sheikh, at least this week, not that effective. if you look at these people, how much should a Raider do? Abhi Chandran Ranjit is back. I think in his last game he had like some 8 points or 6 points or something. He's been doing whatever he can. He and Rakesh. Rakesh also has gone quiet this week.
Yeah.
So this mid-season thing is affecting everybody. Gujarat also especially. What affects Gujarat more is defensively. They were never the best team on paper or even in form. They were never that great a defensive unit. So with these unknown names that you have, if you're going to try and construct a team, something needs to give. Some performance needs to come through. Somebody needs to step up and perform. So that they have not really had. What I am a little, I feel like they're stagnating. Like वही बात है, वही problems है. It's the same thing week in week out. So and the fact that Pratik Daya has picked up an injury, I think he's something with his ankle. उसका कोई injury है. So they've rested him for the last couple of games. Otherwise, these two games that they played this week would have looked very different. He's very clinical. He's been good with his raids as well in the last week or so, last 2 weeks or so, where he's come up with like some 10 points, 9 points. He's been very, very
12,
helpful to
13, yeah.
Rakesh.
In the absence
Yeah.
of Chandran Ranjit, he was the
Yeah.
like he was the raider जो कि इवन राकेश को भी उन्होंने एक समय के लिए मतलब वो परछाई में डाल दिया था.
Outscore किया.
He was so good.
Yeah.
He was so good
So not having
those
him,
2 3 matches.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So not having him affects this team,
Also
not
in
just in
defense,
raiding.
what I was telling is
Hmm. हाँ जी.
no, if I was talking to about defense, रिंकू नरवाल हो गए या मनोज हो गए या आरकम शेख हो गए who plays as all rounder from not wrong, so they've been very quiet in this like last 2 3 weeks. Also, as you have said कि इनका जो डिफेंस है वो इट्स नॉट द बेस्ट डिफेंस. अगर पेपर्स पे बात की जाए, इनफॉर्म में बात की जाए, तो जब ये परफॉर्म नहीं करते हैं तो इनके पास उतने क्वालिटी रेडर्स है नहीं अभी, या क्वालिटी है भी तो उनका फॉर्म नहीं है वैसा जो कॉम्पनसेट कर सके. अगर बाकी टीम में देखोगे आप, अगर आप फॉर एग्जांपल दबंग दिल्ली की बात करो, तो दबंग दिल्ली ने अपने 5-6 मैचेस, स्टार्टिंग 5 मैचेस या 6 मैचेस कैसे जीते थे? तब उनका डिफेंस ओके था, मतलब क्वालिटी डिफेंस तो कभी नहीं था लेकिन चल रहा था ओके ओके. पर उनके जो 3 जो मुख्य रेडर्स थे, they were performing, वो कॉन्स्टेंटली पॉइंट्स लेते जा रहे थे. तो एज सुन एज रेडिंग बंद होता है और डिफेंस अगर वीक है आपका, तो शट इट डाउन कर लीजिए, मैच खत्म हो गया वहीं पे. जो एग्जैक्टली सेम चीज बंगाल, दिल्ली और अभी गुजरात के साथ दिख रही है. ये तीनों टीम के साथ ऑलमोस्ट ऑलमोस्ट डिट्टो प्रॉब्लम्स नजर आ रही है. इफ यू थिंक सो.
No, absolutely. It's funny when you say Rinku Narwal has been quiet this season because on the mat he's one of the noisiest people you'll ever see. वो बात कम ही नहीं करता यार. He shouts and shouts and shouts and the umpire has to tell him to keep quiet and all. So it's funny how these players are just not able to put things together in performances. Shubham has chimed in and said Gujarat की defense सबसे inconsistent है इस season. Correct. And Gujarat के Raiders मिलके चल नहीं पा रहे. मिलके चल नहीं पा रहे also because at one point when Chandran Ranjit and Rakesh were starting to sort of form something together, this man got injured. And then up jab Pratik Daya and Rakesh were starting to do something, Pratik got injured. It's insane. It's like it's not written in the stars only for these guys to have some form of consistency. But sahi baat, they need to string some performances together. They've got a few days to rest, so hopefully they can just go back and think. राम मेहर सिंह पे तो बहुत प्रेशर है because he needs to make something work if they need to seal that at least the knockouts. Like it's his first season at Gujarat, so he'll want to finish at least with a knockouts finish.
it
But
will
how that
it will be going
happens,
it will be going to be very difficult for them
yeah,
क्योंकि
yeah,
उनके
in
उन्होंने उन
very much so.
या एक लेस मैच है, स्टिल 32. इट्स नॉट दैट बैड. बट अगर आप टॉप 6 में भी जाके अगर आप मतलब बेयर मिनिमम करके पहुंच भी जाओगे, तो आपका मेन मोटिव टॉप 6 से ना होके आप ऑब्वियसली सबकी सब टीम चाहेगी कि हम टाइटल जीतें.
फाइनल
सो
में जाए,
उसके
yeah,
लिए
at least.
उनके पास वो क्वालिटी होना चाहिए वो टीम में. तो इवन दो अगर ये टीम, अब देखिए अभी भी टाइम है, ऐसा नहीं कि इनके पास 9 मैच और बचे हुए हैं, 32 पॉइंट्स इनके पास अभी भी हैं. सो दे आर नॉट लाइक तेलुगु टाइटंस की 9 पॉइंट है 14 मैच में. सो दे आर स्टिल ऑन कंटेंशन. 32 इज नॉट दैट बैड गिवन दैट ये सीजन बहुत ही क्लोज रहा है अभी तक. तो टॉप 6 में भी कौन है? पटना है 41, तमिल है 38 पे 7th पोजीशन. तो 2 मैच अच्छे मैच जाएंगे तो इनका कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा. ऐसा नहीं कि टीम को हम वी कैन जस्ट राइट ऑफ नाउ. सो we'll see how it goes for the Gujarat Giants in the next coming few weeks. क्योंकि अब वो नई जगह पे भी जाएंगे तो obviously हर लेग में एक नया स्टार्ट लेने की कोशिश करती है हर टीम. तो we'll see how it goes for them.
Absolutely. And in a lot of ways, I think the losses are getting to Ram Meher Singh as well. Because in the last couple of matches, you could hear him say, "Kya harwaoge kya ab harwa diya na, harwa diya na." He's saying that
Yeah,
in those team
correct.
talks. So you
Yeah.
can see it's getting to him. That might not help the team. So
against
he's
against UP
बहुत
Yodhas, against UP Yodhas, uh, against no, sorry, against Haryana Steelers.
Haryana
Coach,
Steelers.
yeah, again जो coach का duel चलता है, he was so frustrated in that match. मतलब वो
That's
अपने
because Manpreet is there on the other side.
I understand. I know that. But still, he was so furious. Matlab, if I was like thinking myself as a player at that moment, and coach से गाली पड़ रही है कि तू किसी काम का नहीं है, नल्ला नालायक है. मतलब, it was so
Yeah, way to
like
go. क्या
furious
motivation है
to,
नहीं?
yeah, correct.
Seriously, that doesn't help anybody. I understand. And it's
Yeah,
like a lot of these
yeah.
guys tend to do this to their team. So I hope Ashan Kumar se kuch seekh lo yaar. Thoda sa go easy on your boys. But Gujarat, for what it's worth, they've had the backing of this coach from the beginning. Like he knows he has a team of no, there are no big stars in this team. Like I know Chandran Ranjit is a known face in the circuit. Rakesh also has had good seasons previously, but these are all not stars yet in the true sense of the word. So he's really backed his boys, but they also need to repay that confidence in some way. Like if you make efforts or if you're doing things well and you're not scoring, it's okay. Here there are elementary mistakes in defense and raiding. Raiding to chodo, theek hai. You can understand when your defense also is not performing, pressure mein aake you make mistakes. But defense has absolutely no reason or no excuse for the kind of performances they've put up in the last couple of matches. So clearly his work is cut out in terms of which department he needs to focus on. So Gujarat, abhi as things stand, are in 11th place, which is not great at all. This is where Haryana and all were at some point, not
The-
where they want to be, given that they were in the first half of the table at least for a while until I think the last 2 weeks they were there in the top six, top 10. So they'll try to be at least top eight में तो आने की कोशिश करना ही चाहिए in this week. They need to try and make sure that they get wins or at the very least draws and not lose. So let's
and
see
they,
if that,
they
yeah,
they still has one less game than other. Like maximum team ने
yeah,
14 matches
yeah,
खेले हैं. Bengal and
yeah,
Gujarat has played 13. So
13, 13.
एक जीत भी they can change the course, turn of course for
Yeah,
Gujarat क्योंकि फिर 37 पे आ जाएंगे. So they will eye for top 6 spot. So it's lot about the momentum कि कैसा उनके साथ चल रहा है. But having
yeah.
said that, हमने काफी बात कर ली गुजरात के बारे में. We have covered only 4 teams and 1 घंटे बीत चुके हैं. 1 घंटा 2 मिनट. So I
एक
guess
घंटा नहीं,
we
we
have.
started at 7:15. So
Oh,
45
okay.
minutes. Yeah.
But
I don't know
that's
why
live
this.
ticker. Live ticker shows me 1 hour.
Yeah, it's
So
been on for a while, but we started at 7:15.
okay, cool.
Ha, Haryana Steelers. It's good that we have to talk about these guys right after Gujarat because यहाँ के कोच हमारे गुजरात कोच के बड़े प्रिय हैं. तो it was nice to see them go up against each other in the last game. हरियाणा
Yeah.
की जो प्रॉब्लम हुई है, they've had, how have their results been? They've had, I think,
They
one
won
loss,
one.
one
They
win.
lost one. Yeah.
Huh, they
So
won one, they lost one. So
yeah,
when they lost the earlier match, which I'm assuming was against UP Yodhas 40-34, there was a
40-34.
point when Manpreet stopped coming for the mid game ka talk. He just didn't turn up for the halftime talk. He didn't come for that coach's corner. Kuch nahi. वहाँ बैठ के something and all he was talking to himself. So we asked him about that at the end of the match and he's like, look, मैं strategy लेके दे रहा हूँ पर team follow नहीं कर रहा है. They're just not listening. They seem to think that they know better than the coach. They're all playing only their individual game. कोई coach के हिसाब से खेल नहीं रहा है. And the commentators kept talking about this when they took on Gujarat Giants, saying it's so interesting. I mean, coaches अगर ऐसे कहेंगे, then it will demotivate the team. अरे यार, coach और क्या कहेगा फिर? You have like Joginder Narwal sitting there. You have Nitin Rawal in the previous game when he came. Both of them are like, हाँ जी, coach sir ये बोल रहे हैं पर हम उसे execute नहीं कर पा रहे हैं या follow नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. And after a point, Manpreet just stopped participating. Like at the end of that UP Yodha's game, he didn't even come to shake hands with the players. नहीं आया वो. Usually all of them come, no, to do that. Okay,
Yeah,
hello,
yeah.
thank you, congratulations. He didn't come. He sat there in the dugout. Didn't move from there at all until it was time for the press conference. So, but in their last game, which was against Gujarat, they seem to be a better coordinated unit. They seem to be listening to him. Joginder Narwal was brought back for that match,
Yeah.
and he I think had a good game, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
कितने points मिले थे उसको? जोगिंदर नरवाल के
Joginder.
3 points थे, not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
and
bad.
more importantly, I think he sorted out like what Delhi's problem is that there's no experience on the mat. I think he
Correct.
kind of sorted that out for
Yeah.
Haryana. He calmed them down. And when you have like hot heads, नितिन रावल
सी
एक ही है जिसका सर
सी
हमेशा फायर पे रहता है.
नितिन रावल को कैप्टेंसी दी गई थी एंड ही स्टॉप परफॉर्मिंग आफ्टर दैट, सो
Yeah, yeah.
ये भी एक रीजन हो सकता है कि जोगिंदर नरवाल को वापस लाया गया एंड ही इज द कैप्टन
But
अगेन.
okay, hold on. There are two ways to look at this. I don't think, uh, or okay, this is a personal opinion. I don't think not performing is the reason why Nitin Rawal's captaincy was taken away. It's just that I don't think he's able to
No,
command
no,
the
no.
team
Yeah.
that well.
What I'm telling is परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आना बिकॉज कैप्टेंसी का बोझ आ गया था, इसीलिए इस वजह
नहीं
शायद
ना, मैं
मे बी द
उसकी
रीजन, क्योंकि
पर्सनल नो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. आई डोंट थिंक हिज पर्सनल स्टैटिस्टिक्स आर एनीथिंग टू गो बाय बिकॉज primarily, like, he continued the way he always continued. He's coming up, he's taking up, he's talking to players, all of that is fine, and you're like involving yourself in every single play in the game, theek hai. But that's not all that captaincy is about, right? You need to calm down your players when it's a tense situation. You need to get people to not make hasty decisions. You need to get your defense to calm down. And these are things Joginder Narwal can do, not because वो शांत स्वरूप का इंसान दिखता है, but because he's played what for some 10-15 years more than all those guys on the mat combined. So what Haryana needs, especially when the coach is coming out and saying you guys are not listening to me, is a calming down force, which is not Nitin Rawal. Nitin Rawal is not the guy you look to if you want to calm down. So in that sense, like whether it's affected his performance or not, even before that, Nitin Rawal was worth a couple of points. At the max, 3-4 point leke de deta. Char is like being very generous. More than that, you need your Raiders or your this Jamo, all these guys to calm the hell down and just relax when you're looking at something. Amir Hussain Bastami, all these people think on their own. So to have Joginder Narwal back, I think was to bring some sense of control. And maybe he's helping Manpreet execute his plans on the mat. And it worked. Against Gujarat, at least it worked. But it's too soon to tell agar this is the way to go forward. Because agar Joginder, okay, is match mein Joginder ke 3 points aaye. But going forward, if he's going to eat up that spot and not contribute, then that becomes another thing that they have to worry about, which is what happened in the beginning. Usko like 6th minute, 5th minute may substitute kiya jata tha. He'd go off and then somebody else would come in. Nitin Rawal also had to step up because there was no leader on the mat. So these are interesting things for Haryana to consider. Manjeet,
ऑल्सो
Neetu, हाँ,
मीतू शर्मा को आई रिमेम्बर इससे पिछले वीक में कोच डिडंट ओपन विथ हिम एंड दे लॉस्ट द गेम, इवन दो वो शायद 12th या 13th मिनट पे आए थे एंड देन स्टिल ही स्कोर्ड अ सुपर 10. एंड उसके बाद आई डोंट नो ये कॉन्फिडेंस का फैक्टर है या इंजरी है, उसके बाद मितू शर्मा इज नॉट लुकिंग द ओल्ड मितू शर्मा. अब हुआ क्या है कि मंजीत अगेन ही पिक्ड अप द फॉर्म. उन्होंने पिछले दो मैच में दो सुपर टेंस लगाए हैं अगेंस्ट गुजरात, ही स्कोर्ड
12 and
14
15.
एंड
Hmm.
अगेंस्ट यूपी 12 एंड 14.
12
सो
and 15 था ना?
एंड एट द
नहीं?
सेम, नहीं
14,
12
हाँ,
एंड
whatever.
14.
Yeah. हाँ.
So at the same time, Meetu Sharma scored 1 and 5 point. So it's not helping the cause of Haryana Steelers, क्योंकि उनको अगर दोनों रेडर्स साथ में चल रहे होते हैं तो एक कॉम्बिनेशन रेडिंग में भी होती है, जैसे डिफेंस में भी अपने जैमो का नाम लिया, या कोई भी डिफेंस ऑब्वियसली कोई सिंगल हैंडली कभी करता नहीं है. तो अगर डिफेंस में कोई रेडिंग में कोई पार्टनर नहीं मिल रहा है, अगर मंजीत को इधर भी अगर मंजीत चलते हैं तो मीतू नहीं चलते, मीतू चलते हैं तो मंजीत नहीं चलते हैं. अभी they won the match against Gujarat, but it was very close, if you remember. 33-32. Again, Ram Meher Singh इतने गुस्सा इसलिए हो रहे थे क्योंकि उन्होंने मैच हरा दिया. मतलब they were feeling कि उनको वहां से मैच जीतना चाहिए था, फिर भी वो हार गए.
Yeah.
So वो
सही बात.
हरियाणा क्लोज मैच एक जीती है, एक 6 पॉइंट से आ रही है. उन्होंने 11 से पोजीशन पे जंप लिया है. स्टिल उनके पॉइंट से सिर्फ 36, जो कि अभी भी 32 11th पोजीशन का टीम है. तो 4 पॉइंट कुछ नहीं होता है जिस हिसाब से अभी पीकेएल चल रहा है. तो बहुत कुछ है जो कि उनको अभी भी चेंज करने की जरूरत है मेरे हिसाब से.
Right. Absolutely. So whether they manage to do that or not, we'll see. But an important part of this will be कि एक मिनट, हरियाणा 1/3 को खिलाना चाहिए. मतलब,
समझ में नहीं आया वो क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं यहाँ पे.
yeah, what does that mean? Sorry, I lost in translation. Sorry. Shubham, if you can explain that, that would really help us. ठीक है. So that's one. GHJ, Jaipur next.
या जयपुर
Jaipur.
नेक्स्ट.
Can we please talk about Rahul Chaudhary? Simply because I don't think we're ever going to see that performance again. 13 points. I don't think that's happening again.
वो
Oh, हाँ, sorry, sorry. शुभम said third raider को खिलाना चाहिए. अरे हाँ जी, absolutely. But कौन? Who is this? Prapanjan played
या
well for him, played well for them in that game against UP. He had 8 points when Meetu was not there. But Prapanjan also has not been consistent. So
या
as much as Haryana would love to play a third raider, they need somebody who's consistent as well. अगर पहले दो ही ठीक नहीं कर रहे हैं, then yeah, you're right. They need a third option that will probably work. But who that is something for Manpreet to figure out. अभी कौन होगा, किसको खिलाएंगे? That's something that we'll have to see in terms of what their plans are. Okay, ठीक है. So that's one. Yeah, going back to Jaipur. Bolo, what were your
नहीं
thoughts?
you were talking about Rahul Chaudhary's Super 10 13 point, but I'm not giving so much importance to that 13 point. Again, not
Yeah.
disrespecting his Super 10. The
No,
sole
no, it's a
reason is
one-off.
the sole reason is one off, and he scored against weak, probably the weakest or probably the मोस्ट नॉन परफॉर्म डिफेंस अगेंस्ट दबंग दिल्ली. तो जिस
Delhi.
हिसाब
Yeah.
से दबंग दिल्ली फ्रीबीज दे रही है सबको, सो आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि अगर राहुल चौधरी की जगह वहाँ भवानी राजपूत भी होते तो वो भी 13 14 पॉइंट लेके चले जाते उस मैच से भी. सो
Yeah.
बट
Fair
स्टिल
बात, fair
13 इज
बात.
गुड गुड गुड. वो एक अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस था, अच्छा लगा, क्योंकि अर्जुन देशवाल को फाइनली उस मैच में कोई तो सपोर्ट करता हुआ नजर आया. अनलेस एंड
Yeah.
अनटिल कोई होता नहीं उनके साथ, वो बेचारे, यार क्या क्वालिटी प्लेयर है वो.
Yeah.
मतलब अकेले
But he's also very
करता जाता है.
impulsive. But he's also
बट
very impulsive. Like if you look, he makes a lot of decisions on his own. So against a strong defense, he's prone to make mistakes. So if he comes up against, like for example, a strong
बट यू
defense, अब
कांट
कौन बोल
ब्लेम
सकते हैं?
हिम एज इन क्योंकि आप कितना उम्मीद करोगे एक ही प्लेयर से. एक ही परफॉर्म कर रहा है, बाकी 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 कुछ करके नहीं रहा है. फिर भी अकेले दम पे अगर उसने अपनी टीम को थर्ड पोजीशन पे लाके रखा है, 48 पॉइंट्स, एक पॉइंट का गैप है पुनेरी पल्टन से, इक्वल मैचेस खेले हैं. सो यू हैव टू गिव इट टू
Absolutely.
अर्जुन देशवाल.
There's no taking away from Arjun's performances, but I think Jaipur has only themselves to blame if you're saying एक ही खेल रहा है और कोई नहीं, because you have Bhavani
हाँ,
Rajput. तुम
करेक्ट.
लोग सो रहे हो उसको लेके. If they had all opportunities to really push him up and like mold him in that second raider position, but they've stuck with Rahul Chaudhary for some reason. And when he doesn't work, then they end up bringing Bhavani Rajput. In fact, they have multiple options. They have Ajit, who's not worked, but Ajit has looked like clueless, which is why now he's not starting also. And in a lot of senses, now that you know Ki Rahul is working only against weaker opponents, then go with the 3 point, like a 3 prong raiding attack, where you can have Rahul in that third raider position. If things don't work, then you can fall back on him, but give Bhavani Rajput some more game time. Aisa 5 minute, 6 minute, and then he gets subbed off, and then it doesn't count to anything. So if you're looking for support for Arjun, clearly you know Rahul Chaudhary is not that option. Then try and mold the other guy accordingly, which I don't think they're doing yet.
सी
So
उनके
that's
जयपुर के साथ दिक्कत कहाँ हो रही है कि आई डोंट नो, इट्स अबाउट द स्ट्रेचर व्हिच राहुल चौधरी हैज इन अ टीम. बिकॉज अगर राहुल चौधरी का नाम हटा दें तो आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर कि हर कोच उनको स्टार्ट करेगा. आई डोंट नो क्या रीजन है इसके पीछे कोचिंग में, क्योंकि हर मैच अगर पूरे सीजन में देख लो तो राहुल चौधरी एक 7 8 पॉइंट का स्टार्टिंग में उन्होंने एक अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस किया था और अभी 13 पॉइंट का. बाकी पूरे अगर आप ऊपर से देखोगे तो ऑलमोस्ट 0 1 0 1 0 1 2 3 का ही उनका स्कोर रहा है. लेकिन यहाँ पे दिक्कत हो क्या रही है, अगेन सेम आपने जो कहा, भवानी राजपूत को बहुत कम टाइम मिल रहा है and he is not performing in that current situation. का फॉर्म नहीं है उस पकड़ में, and they're trying so many raiders at the same time. Wait, I have to check the names. I obviously देवांग हो गए, एक नितिन पनवर हो गए, इनको पिछले 3 मैच में इनको ट्राई किया गया है. और भी हैं क्या? नहीं, इतने ही हैं. तो दीपक, देवांग और नितिन पनवर, इनको मल्टीपल टाइम्स मौका दिया गया, दे आल्सो फेल. सो आप देख रहे हो कि क्या हो रहा है. एक को टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है भवानी राजपूत को, हु कैन बी श्योर शॉट योर सेकंड रेडर. उससे हो गया रहा है 3 4 प्लेयर्स को मौका दे रहे हो, अब तीनों चारों मिलके फ्लॉप कर रहे हैं along with राहुल चौधरी. सो सारा का सारा भार जो है अगेन किस पे पड़ रहा है, जो इम्पल्सिव आप जिसको कह रहे हो उसी पर. सो आप क्या उम्मीद करोगे उसके बाद उससे.
fair enough. Jaipur has one loss, two wins this week. They won 32-22 against U Mumbai, 57-32 against Delhi, and they lost 37-30 against Patna. So interesting because defense again is slightly questionable, but
No,
it's
and
nice to see Rahul
one more,
Kumar
yeah,
come
no,
back to form. He's not
one
making
more
so many
thing.
errors.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, what I was telling is जो strong defensive unit है जिनके पास एक decent defensive unit है who can actually like able to plan against अर्जुन देशवाल वो उस गेम में आप देखोगे कि वहां पे फंसती है टीम अगर आप पटना के खिलाफ देखोगे सो दे लॉस 30-37 क्यों
Yeah,
क्योंकि सारे के सारे डिफेंडर्स टारगेट कर रहे थे अर्जुन देशवाल को और मैक्सिमम टाइम
Arjun
ही
ko.
दे मैनेज टू अर्जुन को दे मैनेज टू केप्ट हिम आउट ऑफ द गेम अगेन यू मुंबा का वो ऑफ डे था डिफेंस में मैं एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करता हूँ यू मुंबा से ऐसे परफॉर्मेंस का आई डोंट नो आई वाज एक्चुअली मैं मेरे मन में ये सोचे चला था कि बहुत तगड़ा मैच होने वाला है क्योंकि दो सॉलिड टीम है एक का डिफेंस इतना अच्छा है एक तरफ अर्जुन देशवाल है और आई वाज होपिंग कि भवानी उसमें स्टार्ट करेंगे तो मैं मन में सोच रहा था कि एक अच्छा मैच होने वाला है बट स्टिल अगर वो मैच लिए अलग जा चुका था उसमें तो अगेन इट्स सुप्रीमेसी ऑफ अर्जुन देशवाल प्योरली इन दैट मैच सो
Absolutely, there's no taking that
लेकिन
away from him.
बट डिफेंस अगर जिस जिस टीम के पास अच्छी डिफेंस है अगर पुनेरी के साथ अगर मैच आता है आगे इवन तमिल थलाइवास के खिलाफ भी अगर आ जाता है तो आई गेस कि फंस सकते हैं वहां पे जयपुर
Fair enough, fair enough. Let's see if that actually happens. तो जयपुर हो गया.
पटना
अगला
है
कौन? उफ. बोलो. Your thoughts about Patna's games this week?
पटना हैड अ वेरी लाइक मिक्स बैग दिस वीक उन्होंने एक जीता एक हारा एक ड्रॉ किया
एक draw.
इट्स लाइक एक मतलब सब कुछ कर लिया है इसी वीक में हर
But they
घाट का
shouldn't
पानी
have
पी
drawn
लिया
that Tamil Talaiva's game. That was
आई
in
वाज
their hands.
आई वाज कमिंग टू दैट पॉइंट कि वो ड्रॉप पता नहीं मतलब इट्स सो वियर्ड फॉर मी टू गल्प दैट इवन दो आई एम अ तमिल थलाइवास फैन बट वो उनको जीतना चाहिए था क्योंकि आप देखोगे कि ओके आई वाज आल्सो चेकिंग आउट वन स्टैट्स सचिन हैज 48 और जस्ट गिव मी 1 second
Yeah.
yeah
You're looking at the percentage
Sach
of points
No,
that
no,
he
no, no.
scored.
I was looking at the do or die. Yeah, he has 48 do or die points, and second पे है मोहित गोयत with 28. So he is
28.
clearly your best do or die raider. मैंने पहले भी ये बात बात की थी कि रोहित
Best
गुलिया
raider.
नहीं
Period for
रेडर तो है ही
Patna.
नहीं पटना के लिए बेस्ट रेडर तो है ही आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द स्ट्रेटजी ऑन विच पटना प्लेज द गेम उनको डू और डाई रेड करना बहुत पसंद है पटना को क्योंकि सचिन इतने स्ट्रांग है डू और डाई रेड्स पे एंड इस वीक में आप देखोगे अगर अगेंस्ट जयपुर एंड अगेंस्ट तमिल जयपुर एंड तमिल दो ऐसी टीम थी जिन्होंने डिफेंसिवली बहुत ज्यादा गलतियां करी थी अगेंस्ट सचिन इन डू और डाई रेट्स इवन नॉर्मल रेट्स पे भी
Yeah.
फ्रीबीज पे फ्रीबीज अगर अगर आपको पता है कि पटना पायरेट्स डू और डाई रेट पे खेलना पसंद करती है उनको उनका वही स्ट्रेटजी है सचिन उनके प्राइमरी रेडर है जिनको पसंद है ऐसे सिचुएशन से पॉइंट्स लेके आना इवन रोहित गुलिया उनको वन वन 5 डिफेंडर्स के खिलाफ उतना खेलना पसंद नहीं ऑल्दो ही इज स्टिल गुड उनको इज थर्ड और फोर्थ बेस्ट रेडर इन टर्म्स ऑफ डू और डाई रेड सो आप क्यों मौका दे रहे हो उनको ऐसा खेलने का और खेलने का मौका दिया तो देखा दोनों मैच गए हाथ से तमिल थलाइवास के खिलाफ ड्रॉ था वो होना नहीं चाहिए था लेकिन जहां फिर बात करते हैं अगर आप यू मुंबा की तो यू मुंबा अपने क्लास पे थी उस दिन ठीक है यू
Yeah.
मुंबा का डिफेंस दे प्लान कि भैया मुझे तुम्हारा गेम नहीं खेलना हम अपना गेम खेलेंगे गुमान सिंह
Yeah.
अपने टॉप नॉच फॉर्म में थे उस दिन और दे प्लान उनका यहाँ पे दिखता है कि कौन कितनी अच्छी प्लानिंग को एग्जीक्यूट कर सकता है प्लानर सब होते हैं सब कुछ ना कुछ प्लान करके आते हैं हर कोच हर प्लेयर्स के लिए कुछ ना कुछ टैक्टिक्स लगा के आएंगे लेकिन कौन मैट पे कितना अच्छा से एग्जीक्यूट कर पाएगा वो शो करते हैं कि कौन कितना अच्छा टीम है सो एक मिक्स पैक रहा इनके लिए अभी भी टॉप 6 में है ये चार अगर वो जीतते तो 43 मतलब मुंबई से आगे होते हैं सो इनकी खुद की गलती की वजह से टॉप 6 में बट दे आर स्टिल लुकिंग गुड अगर जो छोटी मोटी गलतियां उसको ना दोहराएं तो ये टॉप 6 में अपने आप को मेंटेन करके रख सकते हैं
Absolutely makes sense. In fact, Patna, along with Tamil Talaivas, have had some of, I think, the nicest recovery stories. अच्छे से
Yeah.
recovery हुआ है उनका. Their defense is working. Shadlu is working. Like he's actually defending. He's showing
Oh, I,
us
I, I
glimpses.
miss Shadlu. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
Shadlu has been tremendous.
Yeah, the actually the very interesting part about the Patna versus Jaipur game was there was a proper head-to-head between
Oh,
Shadlu and Arjun, which
Shadlu and
Arjun
Arjun.
won initially.
No,
Arjun
it
got
was,
the better of
yeah,
him initially.
initially,
And then he
correct.
recovered second half.
Yeah,
Second half
yeah,
mein there
yeah.
was just no giving him any space. He was going
Eventually,
up, he was defending ahead.
6 duel थे and it turns out to be 3-3 in the end.
Yeah.
लेकिन I remember the kick, back kick जो लगा था शादलू को, he was so frustrated after that. लेकिन I remember कि उसके बाद से उनका डुएल हो गया था और वो फर्स्ट हाफ में 1-2 से पीछे चल रहे थे, बट ही केम बैक, उन्होंने वो टारगेट करके रखा था कि भाई मैच अपनी जगह पे, मुझे इसको टैकल करना है, एंड ही डिड दैट. और वो डुएल देखने में लाइक इट वाज सॉलिड प्रॉपर डुएल, वो देखने में काफी मजा आया.
Yeah. And Ravi Shetty came with a proper strategy for Arjun, which is why they were able to keep him down. And interesting, because I think it goes to show that even these raiders need to be a little careful because people are planning for them. So helps to have multiple options that are working. So all the more reason for Jaipur to figure out what the hell they're doing with their other raiders. That's an important part for them to figure out going forward. And Bhavani Rajput ka utility, especially given that playoffs are coming, if there is ever a time to give him more mat time and to get him to perform properly, that would be now. Just because we talked about Jaipur. And the same way here also, Rohit Gulia, I hope he can stay injury free because Monu has also been in patches useful, as far as even just in tackles and in raids. So they need to go back to their season 8 ka strategy where these guys had three raiders. Patna was as lethal last season because they had three raiders doing the work. Monu, this one, Guman Singh, and you had Prashant Kumar Rai also pitching in here and there in alongside Sachin. So you need this kind of a three-pronged attack if you're going to stand a chance, especially when you take on raiding heavy teams, which we're seeing in a couple of cases this week in this edition. सो देख लेते हैं कि पटना क्या करती है. पटना का मेन प्रॉब्लम है कि वो डू और डाई रेड पे ज़्यादा खेलती हैं, पर पटना के दो रेडर अच्छे फॉर्म में हैं. दो फिर डू और डाई क्यों
Do or
खेलती है
die.
पटना? करेक्ट. No, so I agree. Like when you started off saying that Sachin, like Patna likes to play on the do, I don't think they like to play on the do or die raid. The
But they do.
issue
They
becomes,
do.
I no, I don't think they do. Like you should see Sachin's face every time it goes to do or die. The other issue is they have to save them. He needs to save himself to even get there. If you have an additional raider who's in form, then the do or die question doesn't come up at all, which has been the
But
case in this season.
if you have noticed, आपने पिछले 3 मैच में देखा होगा कि उनके पास मल्टीपल ओकेजन्स थे, जब तमिल थलाइवास हो गए या जयपुर पिंक पैंथर्स हो गए, उनके पास 3 या 4 डिफेंडर्स बचे हैं, वो जा रहे थे बस में व्हाइट लाइन टच करके वापस आ रहे थे. सो
Okay, defender bache.
if they don't
1 minute.
want to
Defender
play,
bache is one
they,
thing.
if
Ek
yeah,
second.
no, but if they
Defender
don't
bache
want
is
to,
one thing.
yeah.
But yeah, that is one thing. But the other way of looking at this is when you have Rohit, Sachin or Rohit Gulia do or die mein badhiya hai, points la rahe hain. Yes, absolutely. Nobody, okay, first to clarify, no one is saying they are bad at do or die raids. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is if teams have the option of not sending a raider into a do or die raid, they'll take it. Like if you look at any of these high scoring matches, Mumba, I'm not sure which match this was, whether it was a Mumba game or a Tamil Talaiwas game. I'm not sure. You'll have to go back and check. But there are games this edition which are not going to that third raid at all. You keep having this 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then you don't play on do or die. Do or die is a risk for you. No, it might be intense, whatever. But if you end up not getting a point, you go to the bench for no damn fault, even if you don't get tackled. In Patna, the issue comes when, especially when Rohit is not playing, Sachin becomes the only guy who can actually get you points and get you points consistently. So instead of going and sitting on the mat, sitting on the bench and then spending 13, 17 minutes there, you're better off playing on do or die when you can just go get a bonus and come back. Any team would rather not have that situation. So I don't understand why they play so much, which is what I'm saying. It's great, he's getting points, but that shows you that this man works under pressure. But why put him under pressure at all? जरूरी ही नहीं है. Second कौन है? मोहित गोयत. Mohit Goyat has Aslam, now Akash. Why do you think the points are so low? One, he was not in form, beach mein. So there was a question of him being sent to the bench constantly. The others, Aslam, okay, Aslam's also had his ups and downs. I don't think Aslam has grown as a raider from last season to this season, which we'll discuss when we talk about Pune. But
You
Akash
know
Shinde
what? You
has
know
been
what?
good.
Patna we have already covered, so we can just jump on to Pune as well.
Huh. Yeah. So okay, great. Since we're talking about how raiders work, the best segue is this. Look at the fact that there are about 4 to 5 raiders in Pune who are all working for them. and three of them haven't even required to like be brought in. Like Pankaj Mohite, who's been a long-standing Pune man, hasn't had to come out and rate so much because 1, 2, 3, Aslam, Mohit, Akash have been working perfectly fine. So your easiest parallel between Pune and Patna is this, कि तुम्हें जरूरी नहीं होता है डू और डाई करने का, एटलीस्ट सो मच यू डोंट हैव टू रिलाई ऑन दैट रेट टू गेट योर पॉइंट्स और टू प्ले ऑन द डू और डाई रेट. I wouldn't want Patna to play on the do or die raids. I don't think it works as a strategy at all, even though they're good, even though they're good at it. So it's a risk. At the end of the day, it's a risk. And if you have nobody to revive you, which is the case in Bengal, there is nobody to revive Maninder. When Maninder goes, the team's momentum goes with him. So then why would you play on that third raid there? So same thing, same sort of thing applies to both places. But in Pune, अंकित बेनीवाल पर कोई अपडेट है मैम? आदित्य, थैंक यू फॉर दैट क्वेश्चन. मैं खुद ढूंढ रही हूँ कि अंकित बेनीवाल को हुआ ही क्या है. शायद शायद इंजरी है या क्या है, वी डोंट नो, बट आई एम एक्चुअली सरप्राइज कि वो आज तक फीचर नहीं हुआ है. बट वी विल आस्क द कोच टुमारो आफ्टर द मैच, सो आई विल प्रॉब्ली हैव एन अपडेट फॉर यू टुमारो. आप प्लीज हमारा ब्लॉग चेक करते रहिए, यू विल प्रॉब्ली नो what's happening from there. But agar Pune ki baat kare, then they have also had a mixed bag of a week, right? They lost a game. They lost the Maharashtra derby, which means they couldn't complete the double on U Mumba. And after that, they showed Bengal Warriors their place. God, what a match that was. There was no getting around Fazal and Co. 27-43 loss फॉर पुणे. शुभम सेज पुणे की प्रॉब्लम है, रेडर अग्रेसिव होकर नहीं खेल रहे हैं क्योंकि पुणे के पास 3 इनफॉर्म रेडर है. आपको लगता है कि पुणे अग्रेसिव नहीं है? आई थिंक असलम थोड़ा ज्यादा ही अग्रेसिव है, एंड उसी
आई गेस
वजह से वो मिस्टेक.
उन्होंने बंगाल का मैच शायद ठीक से कवर नहीं किया है, वरना एग्रेसिव दिखते वो तीनों के तीनों रेडर एक साथ.
नो बट व्हाट्स द पॉइंट? ये तो वही हो ना, तेलुगु के अगेंस्ट जैसे पॉइंट्स लेके आते हो तुम, बंगाल के अगेंस्ट भी पॉइंट्स लेके आ रहे हो. प्लीज,
हाँ वो भी है.
Bengal's like one sleeping cat. It's so unfortunate. So unfortunate. They're such a good team, and how they're just lying down and giving away points is so unfortunate. But पुणे की अगर हम बात करें, they've the I at least for me the biggest problem has been that they're not getting big wins. Given the team that they have, unka winning margin is always within that 3 4 points. Whether it's a loss, a tie, or whatever, it's always a loss or a win. It's always between those 3 to 5 points. So they end up giving away a point or getting a point if they lose. I don't understand that. They need big wins. So this Bengal win will do them some good because margin bada tha. That needs to happen a lot more for them. Defense may, I mean, I know everything revolves around Fazal in that team, but you need other people. Like when Fazal was not around, you had your Bala Sahab Jadhav, you had I don't know if Gaurav Khatri was in their team. Was he in their team? इसके टीम में ही था ना,
गौरव
पुणे ही था
खत्री,
ना. Gaurav
एक्चुअली
Khatri is
या
in Pune, right?
या
Yeah, so all these guys like Sanket Sawant, Abhinesh Natarajan, Sombir, all these guys have had खेले बाकी मैच, वो अग्रेसिव नहीं खेले हैं. नो शुभम, आई अग्री दैट दे डोंट that aggressive. Again, I don't know how to classify this. If you look at Aslam, for example, Aslam is aggressive, and the aggression is what makes him make mistakes. So why I was saying I don't think Aslam has grown. Last season also, if you look at it, he makes mistakes. Like there are either वो hastily कुछ जाके करता है, या फिर unnecessary जगहों में bonus लाएगा, या फिर unnecessarily he'll go too deep into something, or as a defender he'll try and get into tackles because he has the all-round ability. He works in attack and defense. I don't think those mistakes have changed this time. So if you look at, like, Aslam's brand value has increased, but his errors and his technique remains the same. So I'm not able to rate him that high. But Mohit getting form back again is a great sign for Pune. And the fact that Akash Shinde bhi chal rahe hain, it is just good news for them. Jo chal raha hai, there's nothing to change for now. Fazal's fitness is something they need to worry about, because in the U Mumba match, Fazal was carrying injuries. And this is not major injuries, but there were niggles here and there. So he was getting himself iced the day before and all of that. So if you look at the U Mumba match, he didn't attempt so many tackles at all. He was just coordinating the defense. वो कूद नहीं रहे for ankle holds, or he wasn't trying to give his body too much work, and that sort of went against them. So maybe that fitness is important. They've had a couple of days break now, so I'm sure that'll help these guys. But their raiders are working fine, defense is working fine. They just need to know how to get early advantages. Like, don't wait till the end of the match to steal a win. Maybe try and get the job done before 5 minutes are left in the clock. What did you think
Lavanya,
about Pune's performances?
like I was coming to that point. Like before that, I have a question regarding your thought about Nabi Baksh. So, like, do you think कि second match में against Bengal उनको नहीं खिला के टीम ने सही किया?
Uh,
बताओ
First of
बताओ.
all, Nabi Baksh, I think, is an interesting case study on his own because if you look at his points, you would think that he's not contributing to the team. उसका अगर points देखोगे तो like his points per match, it will look like he has no contribution to make at all. But again, there are two arguments to be made here. He is the support defender for Fazal. He works in that left chain along with Fazal. So he's the left in, works with Fazal in sort of that when it comes to those combinations there. And he's important to Fazal because he points out Fazal's mistakes during a match. If you next time you watch the game and you see the coach's corner and all happening, coach team के साथ बात कर रहा होगा. If Nabi Baksh is not on the mat, you will see Fazal talking to him on the bench because Fazal keeps an eye on what he does, what his mistakes are. If his foot is going very close to the back, like towards the end of the playing area. These are things that only Nabi Baksh points out to Fazal because Fazal is busy orchestrating the game for everyone else. So there's two ways of looking at this. Just because ye banda Fazal ko support kar raha hai, don't eat up a place in the team. So I don't mind that they didn't play Nabi Baksh because they would have understood that okay, the team is not doing very well, we can manage, and he can always be subbed in later if it comes to it. But in crucial games, Nabi Baksh is a sure shot starter because he's very intelligent on the mat. You can like him, you can not like him. He got a lot of hate after that 8 technical points thing that happened versus Bengaluru Bulls last year. Okay, he got a lot of hate for it.
It's
People
not
thought
his fault,
cheater, ye
no.
wo.
But
It's not his fault, but
again,
it was, but
rule
it's
है पे
conscious.
क्या?
अरे फ्लूक में नहीं मिला, उसको पता था कि टेक्निकल पॉइंट्स है, अगर
But
मैं जाएगा बाहर.
it's under the rule ना. So
Absolutely.
obviously,
That is not how we decide spirit of the game. No, Mayank. There are things that are within the rules of the game, like even Ajinkya Pawar's thing that happened earlier this season. Technically, apparently, the referee did this, but the referee did this to stop any injuries from happening. So to go easy on the players. But this is also what they do when the raid is over, except that they didn't blow the whistle. So you can look at it both ways. Ajinkya Pawar shouldn't have struggled and gone out. That's one argument, which a lot of people stand by. Okay, so the same way Nabi Baksh got a lot of hate for that last year from the fans. Nobody else cares. From the fans, they were like, नहीं है, ये cheater है, ये है, वो है, and he knew कि ये provision है. अगर मैं जाएगा, defenders मेरे साथ आएंगे, तो defenders be out है. But that's the thing. You need an intelligent raider to know that. Not anybody can think about this and try and get points the same way. Same way, look at that tackle versus Guman Singh. You can't deny these are things that not every player can do. Mohit initiated that tackle, but Mohit's like hold on Guman Singh's ankle weakened. So if it was anybody else there, Guman would have jumped in, got the 2 points, and triggered the all out. Nabi Baksh was the reason that all out was saved in that Umumba game. So
but
you can
Lavanya, you
say what you
see,
want.
see again at the
Yeah.
same time you said about सुरेंद्र नाडा की पूरे मैच में वो 30 सेकंड का मोमेंट आया, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? अगर आप
Yeah,
सेम
yeah,
चीज
that's
अगर इस
what
टीम के
I'm
साथ
saying. The
बोलोगे,
same thing. I'm saying the same thing. But that's
what
what,
I
if he's not performing, don't keep him on, na.
see
Don't keep him
see
on for the duration of
don't
the game.
think don't think that I hate him or something of that sort. But randomly I was checking ki how Puneri Paltan is doing with him, without him. He has okay. Just guess it कि उनके कितने रेड पॉइंट्स होंगे, कितने डिफेंस पॉइंट होंगे. Just guess
He's
it.
not had any red points, if I'm not wrong, this
No, he
season.
has. He has.
या
He
एक
has.
या दो होंगे या शायद.
पांच पांच रेड पॉइंट्स है, 8 डिफेंस पॉइंट है.
Hmm.
सो अगर प्योरली स्टैटिस्टिक्स बेस पे जाओ आप, आई नो कि वो ही लाइक हिज प्रेजेंस एंड वो दो ईरानियन है, उनका चेन टैकल, उनका उनका जो बाकी सब अपनी जगह है, लेकिन प्योरली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पॉइंट्स ही इज द 60th worst defender in this list.
Yeah,
And रेडिंग हटा दो, रेडिंग किया भी नहीं उन्होंने, उतना तो ज्यादा बोल भी नहीं
yeah,
सकते. What I'm telling
yeah,
is it's actually good decision to take him out and pick आकाश शिंदे, क्योंकि आकाश शिंदे अपना स्पॉट लूज कर रहे थे. आकाश शिंदे
yeah,
आए, इवन दो बंगाल एक वीक डिफेंस है, फिर भी आप देखोगे कि जो तीनों डिफेंस में क्या बदला है. डिफेंस उसको हटा दो तो आई डोंट थिंक कुछ बदला है. संकेत सावंत पहले भी खेले थे, अभी भी खेले, सोमेर अभी पहले भी खेले थे, और अभिषेक नटराजन. आई डोंट नो हाउ ही इज एज अ डिफेंडर, आई पर्सनली डोंट नो. बट वो तीन कुछ नहीं बदला है. बट क्या बदले हैं तो बस और बस एक ऑलराउंडर जो कि नबी बख्श है, उनकी जगह पे प्योर डिफेंड प्योर रेडर जो कि आकाश शिंदे है, जो कि फॉर्म में है. He scored at Super 10 against Bengal. So what I'm telling is not a bad decision to do that. आपको
Not at
कुछ
all.
कहना है, मुझे पता है आपको कुछ कहना है.
No, no. So I agree. Like, look, in terms of performances, Nabi Baksh doesn't rank anywhere. I completely agree with this. But honestly, BC Ramesh has known Nabi Baksh in Bengal Warriors also. I don't think they've taken him in for him to get points. They've literally taken him to support Fazal. And it's helping Fazal. So this is what like one way of looking at this is, if you look at Nabi Baksh's points never show you how much a defender has supported someone else.
अगर बात ही
Which
करनी
is
है, कॉन्फिडेंस ही देना है, तो आप 10 फीट के दूरी पे हो, 5 फीट की दूरी
exactly,
पे, तो वहीं से दे सकते हो ना.
exactly. I completely agree. But that's the thing. That's not what you and I decide. No, what
ऑब्वियसली,
difference
बट
comes
अगर
to
नहीं
the
नहीं
difference
अगर हम
comes to the
डिस्कस.
captain. If the captain feels he needs a player, for example, Giri Sharnak also was not
नो
performing in
दैट्स.
between. He also had like the dip in the second half. Until Bengal Warriors had the brains to sub him out in the second half, that man was still on the mat. Because for what it's worth, on paper or on whatever, on basis of what he brings to the table, he's a presence in that corner. So, and in his case, he wasn't contributing to anything on either side.
सी
In this case, in
व्हाट.
Pune's case, yeah.
No, no,
Bolo,
no.
bolo,
You,
sorry, I
you
cut
can
you across.
continue. नहीं नहीं. What I was
No, in
telling is,
Pune's,
yeah, please you continue. Continue. I'll listen, and then I'll make my
no,
argument.
I'm waiting. I'm muted.
No, what I am telling is, अगर आप एक तरफ ये बोल रहे हो कि the problem for पुनेरी पल्टन is वो क्लोज मैच हार रहे हैं या क्लोज मैच जीत रहे हैं, वो बड़े बड़े मार्जिन से नहीं जीत रहे हैं. एट द सेम टाइम यू आर मेकिंग आर्गुमेंट कि जो कोच उनको पॉइंट्स लेने के लिए नहीं, बस सपोर्ट करने के लिए लेके आए हैं, तो वेयर आर यू गोइंग फ्रॉम दिस? अगर एक
No,
तरफ
that's
आप पॉइंट्स नहीं ला रहे हो, तो
अरे लड़ना नहीं है आदित्य, लड़ नहीं रहे. दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट बिकॉज पुणे ऐसा ही खेल रहा है. योर
see, I
लिसन
I
Mayank,
I
आई एम
didn't
नॉट
wanted to
सेइंग कीप
mention.
Nabi Baksh in the team. I enjoy
See,
watching Nabi Baksh play. That is another
no.
thing.
See, but we
Let's make that clear.
हमको कभी ना कभी इस बात पे डिस्कशन करना ही था कि क्योंकि
Correct.
it's obviously it's
Again,
part of the game, no.
wait. Like, see, Aditya, the simple question. If Tamil Talaiwas takes out Narendra, Mayank शायद रोएगा. Nabi
अरे
Baksh
मैं
को
क्यों
अगर आप
रोएगा, मैं
निकालोगे
क्यों
तो मैं
रोएगा,
रोऊंगी नहीं. That's the difference. That is the
ओहो,
difference here.
ये पर्सनल अटैक
Yeah,
हो रहा है.
no, that
नहीं
is the
नहीं
difference in terms of
नो
how
नो नो
attached
नो
you are to these players. Hold
ना
on.
ना ना ना
What
ना
I'm
ना
trying
ना
to
ना
say
ना
is, hold on,
ना
hold
ना.
on. What I'm trying to say is, Pune will benefit. Again, you have players who don't eat up space with no points. If you take them off, Pune will for sure benefit. If Akash Shinde, if they're bringing him in place of Nabi Baksh, that's only going to do well for Pune. I am not
That's
telling you
it.
that Nabi
That's
Baksh
it.
deserves to be in Pune because he's supporting Fazal. All I'm telling you is this is what they're saying. We asked them this question, saying, "What are you trying to do with Nabi Baksh?" Like when we asked Fazal, Fazal very clearly said, "Nabi Baksh is the best second defender out here, which is why I have him in this
He
team."
will say no. वो तो बोलेगा ही. क्यों
Exactly,
क्यों
because
क्यों
उसका फायदा हो रहा है.
बोलेगा,
That is
उसके
what I'm trying to
पीछे
tell you.
obvious
I'm
reasons
not
भी.
saying team that
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell you is not that this is the best strategy, but I'm trying to tell you this is the strategy that Pune is going with. So, which is why they're getting this margin of points. That's precisely so. You and I are on the same spectrum of the same conversation, but on different ends. You're right. If they want to get better results, either they get a defender who'll stop the other team from scoring so many points. In which case, if you're sticking with Nabi Baksh, he needs to perform better, like initiate more tackles, help more tackles. That's one. If you're sticking with Nabi Baksh, because their other defenders make mistakes. Bala Sahib Jadhav made mistakes. Gaurav Khatri was good, but again made mistakes. So he's not getting those many opportunities also now to
You
come
know
in.
what?
Sombir has become better.
look at
But agar,
look at
sorry,
Aditya. He's missing
emotional damage.
emotional
हाँ
damage.
जी भाई. अरे फजल और नबी बख्श रूममेट्स है यार, कुछ तो फायदा होना चाहिए ना नबी बख्श का. फजल कैप्टन है और नबी उसी देश का है, तो थोड़ा समझना भी आसान हो जाता है. करेक्ट, दैट इज राइट. सो
No,
या
I'm
दैट
not
इज
denying
एब्सोल्युटली
that.
राइट. लाइक दे
I'm
टॉक
not
टू ईच
denying
अदर
that.
इन पर्शियन. या
Yeah.
दैट्स एब्सोल्युटली राइट. नो लुक,
बट
सो द
टीम का
इजीएस्ट वे
नहीं,
इज
मैं बस एक मैंने बार बार एक ही चीज रिपीट करूंगा, टाइम वेस्ट होगा, कुछ नहीं. बस मेरा ये कहना है, टीम का फायदा जिसमें हो वो कर रहे हैं और उसमें फायदा दिख रहा है. दैट्स इट. अगर अगर
या
कोई
बट
चीज को
नॉट सो मच. Not so much. This
व्हाई
team
नॉट.
ka
नो.
fayda won't help with this strategy. You're right. They need bigger wins. In that case, they need either players like what we were saying. They need players who will get
यू
them
नो
more
व्हाट विल
points.
सी इन द नेक्स्ट मैच, क्या वो क्या
Yeah.
सोच के आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि आकाश
Who are they
शिंदे को
playing?
बाहर, मैं ऐसा कुछ तो कभी नहीं बैठाऊंगा, तो विल सी कि नेक्स्ट मैच में क्या करेंगे, तो फिर विल टॉक अबाउट इट। किसके साथ खेल रहे हैं, हरियाणा के साथ, आई गेस तब नबी बख्श आ जाएंगे, हरियाणा के
Oh,
साथ है
that's
ना, तब
tomorrow.
तो आ ही जाएंगे।
Yeah,
सो
yeah.
देन
Yeah, Nabi Baksh might just play tomorrow. कल ही है ना पुनेरी पल्टन हरियाणा.
फर्स्ट मैच ही तो।
Yeah. Who else do they play? They play Bengaluru Bulls. Oh Jesus. Okay, ठीक है. एक
वेरी
सवाल
बिग
है,
मैच।
नबी को किसके जगह स्टार्टिंग सेवन में शामिल कर सकते हैं? आकाश शिंदे अच्छा कर
आकाश,
रहा है, हाँ वही बोल रहा है ये.
आकाश शिंदे।
आकाश ही. But the other thing is, why would you introduce Akash so quickly? Because he is the third raider. Why would you introduce him so quickly? BC Ramesh believes that अगर दो नहीं चले तो तीसरा आएगा. If Mohit and Aslam can manage, then there's no question of bringing Akash at all.
So, but why
Because you're
did
also
Mohit? But why did BC Ramesh played all the three Raiders against Bengal?
good question. That's what he has to answer. It's not like their strategies have been very consistent. Exactly. So it hasn't been consistent. But another reason to bring Akash Shinde would have been because Bengal's defense is abysmal. So Beti Ganga mein hath dhona, same. You know it's going to be weak. Why not have an additional person? Which is what I think. I don't know if that's the strategy or not. I was too
I
ill to
guess
ask him that day, so
maybe
I have no clue. But
no, maybe
yeah,
what I am thinking is वो शायद वो लॉस उनको शायद झेल नहीं पाए, क्योंकि यूमोपा के साथ वो झेल नहीं पाए, ऐसे वो नहीं, वो हार, उनको हारना नहीं था वो मैच, वो हार गए वो मैच अगर यूमुम्बा से। सो दे
yeah.
हैड टू चेंज स्ट्रेटजीज, क्योंकि डिफेंस में कुछ काम नहीं आ रहा था, तो सो दैट माइट बी द सिचुएशन, बट वो उनके तरफ का सोच है, वो हम लड़के
Yeah,
इस पे
exactly.
घंटों बात करेंगे, कोई मैटर नहीं बनता है।
Yeah, exactly. We don't exactly know what the thinking process was. Quite honestly, पता नहीं कि thinking process क्या था उसके बाद. But we can try and find out. Like if this continues tomorrow, then we can definitely ask them and see if that's something that they're trying to do. But for what it's worth, playing Akash Shinde has only gotten these guys rewards. Fazal is very fond of Akash for some reason. For some reason नहीं, I mean वो अच्छा खेल रहा है, ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए. So let's see if they get इतना तो कोच और कैप्टन नहीं सोचते होंगे जितना हम जर्नलिस्ट सोचते हैं. अरे भाई, फजल, ओके, सो लास्ट थिंग अबाउट पुणे एंड देन वी कैन मूव ऑन. Fazal gets 2 hours of sleep a day because he's thinking about how things will, like screw up in a match or who might not perform. तो आप ऐसा मत सोचिए कि सिर्फ हम सोच रहे हैं, खाली हम यहाँ आके यहाँ यूट्यूब पे बात कर रहे हैं, वो लोग वहां पे बैठ के दिन रात सोचते रहते होंगे कि क्या करना चाहिए. दैट्स अ लिटिल अनफेयर, बट या शायद झगड़ते होंगे सिर्फ हम दोनों. ओके, सो दैट्स पुणे. Who next? Who do we play next? But this is
तमिल,
an interesting thing,
तमिल,
Mayank. We'll come back to the Nabi Baksh thing at the end of next week. Probably we'll start with that to just see how that's shaping up. Because for what it's worth, हम
फॉर श्योर,
ऐसा
फॉर
सब बोल रहे हैं. Yeah, सब बोल रहे हैं, but Maninder took them to the final and Nabi Baksh won them that final. So don't forget about that. That's all maybe he'd say if he would be able to talk to us.
one thing I would like to clarify that I'm not a Nabi Baksh hater. Neither I am a Nabi
Ah.
Baksh lover or anything of that sort. मैं just from objective point of view, हम हर टीम के बारे में बात करते हैं, इन डेप्थ बात करते हैं. Just because पुनेरी पल्टन किसी को पसंद है तो हम बात नहीं करेंगे,
विपक्ष
ऐसा
हेटर
भी नहीं
नहीं है,
होता है.
ये सब बोलेगा. आपको सब साफ दिखाई दे रहा है कि कौन क्या है.
वो तो मैं बस
ओके.
लोगों की बायसनेस को खत्म करने के लिए थोड़ा इन डेप्थ में गया था,
अच्छा जी,
बाकी और कुछ
बंगाल वॉरियर्स का. अच्छा, ये मैं
बंगाल.
अगले हफ्ते देख लूंगी. थे अगले
who's
हफ्ते
बंगाल
देख लेंगे
वाले?
भाई.
ठीक
एक
है,
मिनट, आ जाओ, हम तमिल तलेवास के लिए आ ही रहे हैं. रुको. पी टी है ना नेक्स्ट?
हाँ
हाँ,
हाँ तमिल.
तमिल तलेवास. बोलो बोलो बोलो.
आप
हाउ
स्टार्ट
डिड यू
करो.
थिंक दे प्लेड दिस वीक? नहीं नहीं, कीजिए सर, शुरू
Okay,
कीजिए. हाउ
they
डू यू
have
थिंक दे
been
प्लेड?
okay. They have been again in the older version of the Tamil Thalevas, which we used to see in the first 2 weeks. क्योंकि दोनों मैच जीत सकते थे, दोनों मैच, क्यों क्यों मैं बोल रहा हूँ दोनों मैच जीत सकते थे, मैंने पटना के लिए आपने बोला था पटना के साथ भी जीत सकते थे. अगेन तमिल ने लास्ट रेड किया था, नरेंद्र जस्ट गए, व्हाइट लाइन टच करके आए, वो डिफेंसिव अप्रोच था उनके खिलाफ, उनके लिए. आप अगेन दोनों स्पेक्ट्रम की तरफ से देख सकते हो कि वो नहीं चाहते थे कि ज्यादा रिस्क लें और टैकल हो जाए और मैच 3 पॉइंट से के बदले 1 पॉइंट मिले, तो वो भी उनके अप्रोच में था, और एग्जैक्टली सेम रीजन के से उन्होंने वो रिस्क नहीं लिया. बट एट द सेम टाइम आप देखोगे तो तमिल थलाइवर्स एक डाइंग मिनट्स में जाके दे केम बैक, क्योंकि उन्होंने, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, दे इन्फ्लिक्टेड एन ऑल आउट इन द वेरी एंड। सो अगर उनके पास एक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि एटलीस्ट थोड़ा रिस्क ले, क्योंकि अभी भी मिड सीजन ही कहोगे, आपने 14 मैचेस खेले हैं, अगर अभी आपके पास 8 मैचेस बचे हैं तो अभी भी आप रिस्क ले सकते हो। अगर आपके पास खोने के लिए कुछ है नहीं, आप ऑब्वियसली इतने सबसे नीचे मतलब 11th पोजीशन पे थे, हम 11th का ही जोड़ेंगे क्योंकि तेलुगु ने झंडा गाड़ दिया अपना 12th पे। सो सबसे आखिरी पोजीशन से भी आके अगर आप इतना अच्छा कर रहे हो तो थोड़ा रिस्क तो लेना बनता था। एंड बिफोर दैट अगेंस्ट बेंगलुरु, बेंगलुरु के खिलाफ भी हुआ क्या था कि नरेंद्र उसमें, मैंने पहले भी ये बात रिपीट करी है कि बहुत बहुत उल्टा चल रहा है इनका विकास खंडोला के इनिशियल सीजन से। विकास खंडोला सेकंड हाफ में चलते थे, नरेंद्र फर्स्ट हाफ में चल रहे थे कुछ दिनों तक। अभी पिछले मैच में तो चलिए दोनों हाफ में चले थे, लेकिन टीम जो कि नरेंद्र को टारगेट करती है उनको पता है कि सिमिलर सिचुएशन में फंस जाएगी अगर वो किसी किसी अच्छी टीम के पास एक प्राइमरी रेडर है, जैसे तमिल थलाइवर्स के पास डिपेंडेंसी नरेंद्र है। नरेंद्र को टैकल करोगे तो उनको पता है कि बाकी कोई वैसा नहीं है क्वालिटी प्लेयर। अजिंक्य पवार है, लेकिन ही इज नॉट द वन हु कैन गारंटी यू अ पॉइंट इन एवरी रेट। वो शायद मेरे हिसाब से सिर्फ और सिर्फ नरेंद्र ही कर सकते हैं इस टीम के साथ। और इसी वजह से ये 2 मैच जो उनको जीतने चाहिए थे, सिर्फ और सिर्फ 3 पॉइंट लेके गए हैं 10 में से। सो आई एम वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड विद द वे दे प्लेड इन दिस वीक।
नहीं, सही बात। आई थिंक देव जस्ट बिन अ लिटिल पैची यहाँ वहाँ। they've not been able to finish out games, which I
या
don't know why this has happened, but their coach doesn't seem too bothered.
या
And
which actually is good for the team, क्योंकि वो
yeah,
जितने चिल आउट लगते हैं, वो कुछ नहीं होगा बेटा, कुछ नहीं होगा, लाइक ही वाज टेलिंग आई गेस, हाँ,
yeah,
टू अभिषेक अगेंस्ट बेंगलुरु बुल्स, क्योंकि अभिषेक वाज रियली रियली पुअर इन दैट
bad.
मैच। वो इतने
Yeah,
पॉइंट दे रहे थे उस मैच में, फिर भी
yeah,
अभिषेक वाज ट्राइंग टू से समथिंग, बट द वे ही सेड कि कुछ नहीं बेटा, कुछ नहीं बेटा। सो आई एज अ व्हाट व्यूअर फेल्ट नाइस कि चलो एक कोच ऐसा भी है कि ऑब्वियसली हमने पहले भी बात की थी कि he has been given a pack of wolves की जो करना आप कर लो, क्योंकि he has not built the team। क्योंकि
yeah,
हमने पिछले साल पवन के पिछले वीक हमने पवन के के एंगल को लेके बात करा था कि पवन नहीं है
that's right.
उनके फर्स्ट चॉइस एंड ऑल। फिर भी लेकिन ऑब्वियस सी बात है, एक कोच को लाया गया, उनके पास एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। इवन तो वो मिड सीजन में आए हैं तो भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। एंड द वे द टीम हैज रेजरेक्टेड, उन्होंने पहला मैच जो जीता था अपने सीजन का आफ्टर अशांत कुमार जॉइन वाज अगेंस्ट वाज अगेंस्ट पटना पायरेट्स। तो वो चाहते तो वो डबल कर सकते थे पटना के खिलाफ, क्योंकि उनका स्टार्ट ही पटना के खिलाफ हुआ था। फिर भी दोनों मैच जहां जीतने चाहिए थे वो दोनों मैच सिर्फ 3 पॉइंट लेके गए हैं। तो और देखो उससे पॉइंट्स टेबल में क्या हो रहा है, दे आर ऑन 7th पोजीशन विद 38 पॉइंट। उनके नीचे की टीम के पास 37, 36, 35, 32, जिसमें एक टीम ने एक मैच खेला भी नहीं है। तो आप अपने ही पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हो, क्योंकि आप जिस तरीके से खेल रहे थे, आप लगातार टॉप 6 को चैलेंज कर रहे थे। तो आप चैलेंज नहीं करने के बाद अभी मतलब अभी हो क्या रहा है तमिल के लिए कि इस 2 मैचेस के बाद उनके पास प्रेशर बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया है, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट वीक अगर आप देखोगे तो नेक्स्ट वीक, 1 सेकेंड मैं चेक कर लेता हूँ कि वो कौन कौन सी टीम के साथ खेलेंगे। सो कमिंग वीक दे विल प्ले अगेंस्ट बंगाल। चलिए, तो बंगाल की डिफेंस उतनी अच्छी नहीं, बट दे विल प्ले यू मुंबा। सो और वो भी दोनों वो 2 दिन के अंदर खेलने वाले हैं, एक लास्ट मैच एक पहला मैच, तो उनके पास टाइम नहीं होगा। और यू मुंबई एक ऐसी टीम है जिनका डिफेंस बहुत सॉलिड है। एक मैच में जरूर उन्होंने खराब प्रदर्शन किया था, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, यू मुंबा लॉस्ट टू या जयपुर, उस मैच में उनका डिफेंस चला नहीं था। लेकिन जनरली हमने देखा है कि युवा एक अच्छी सॉलिड टीम है और युवा प्लानिंग के साथ आती है। और अगर युवा का प्लान काम कर गया तमिल थलाइवर्स के खिलाफ, उन्होंने नरेंद्र को टारगेट करते रहे तो फिर मुश्किल होने वाली है तमिल थलाइवर्स के लिए।
करेक्ट। एंड आदित्य ने बोला है कि सागर ने दोनों मैचेस में टोटल 2 पॉइंट्स लिए हैं, तो डिफेंस को भी दोष देना होगा हार के पीछे। करेक्ट। एंड नरेंद्र नीड
करेक्ट, वेरी
सपोर्ट।
गुड।
नरेंद्र नीड सपोर्ट, उसके अकेले में कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। सो Ajinkya Pawar and all need to step up. He had 7 points, I think, in their Patna Pirates wala game, but in the earlier game in the week, it was just
बेंगलुरु
Narendra.
ही हैड 4।
हाँ, it was
बेंगलुरु
just
के लिए
नरेंद्र,
उन्होंने
वही
बोला
तो 10 पॉइंट
या
या कुछ लिया था ना नरेंद्र ने उस पॉइंट में,
10
आई मीन उस
10
गेम
लिया
में।
था। या
Yeah, so
जिसमें
अगर हम
जिसमें
बात
कि
कर ही
एक
रहे हैं,
टैकल
then
का पॉइंट है.
exactly. So all round, I think there's some fine tuning that they need to do, but this team can do it.
या
So yeah, so maybe like yeah, I mean criticism करने की बहुत चीजें हैं, but they also have the quality to improve. So they've had two games and two off games this week. This win, I mean Patna Pirates ke against especially Patna, they had the lead. Tamil Talaivas could have won it if they'd just been a little more smart about things, but they didn't do that. So that would be a game that both Patna and Tamil Talaivas will be disappointed by. But आगे जाके देखते हैं कि वो लोग क्या कर पाते हैं. Fair enough?
Lavanya, we are almost
हाँ.
touching 2 hours, so if
Yes,
it possible, we
exactly.
can
We have
wrap it quickly.
UP and U Mumba. तेलुगु टाइटंस की बात ना करें तो बेहतर है आई थिंक.
तेलुगु टाइटंस के बाद हमने हर मैच जिन 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 टीम्स के साथ हमने
हाँ.
खेला, यूपी ओदर्स, बेंगलुरु बुल्स, वी हैव टॉक्ड एनफ, और आई डोंट थिंक
या
उन्होंने ऐसा कोई मौका दिया है बारिंग सिद्धार्थ देसाई का परफॉर्मेंस, कुछ नहीं उनके लिए बात करने के लिए मेरे हिसाब से तो.
right, absolutely. And I think as far as we're talking about things, what what is also important to remember is that in Telugu Titans case at least, their defense has been a little patchy because they're not able to sort of close out games in the last 3-4 minutes. They tend to falter, like unka confidence hill jata hai, and then even though they're starting a game well, because now Siddharth is in form, they're not able to complete it because the team sort of has hiccups in the last 5 to 6 minutes. Like it becomes a different team, जैसे कबड्डी खेलना ही नहीं जानते types. So maybe
करेक्ट.
that's something that they'll have to deal with. Playoffs के context में, I think Telugu Titans is all but out. But if they can manage a few wins, at least they can ruin the scenario for some others.
पार्टीज
So
पार्टीज
देखते हैं.
पॉलिटिक्स.
Exactly. तो जल्दी से यू मुंबा कर ले so we can shut off with UP Yoddhas.
या
What were your thoughts about U Mumba this week?
I was actually really impressed with the way they played till the very last match against Jaipur. I don't know what exactly happened in that match, but Guman Singh वापस आ चुके हैं. He is looking all but he's looking much more solid. पता नहीं उनके वो आपने जो बोला वो पहन के आ रहे हैं, उसके बाद से उनका दिमाग बहुत टाइट हो चुका है. He's much more
Mm.
sharper in the raids and all, but he's looking very confident. और वो जो confidence जो raid department में भी लेके आते हैं, so that itself is very beneficial for the team itself. I'm not very sure कि अभी तक सुरेंद्र सिंह के इंजरी में क्या अपडेट है. अगर आपको कुछ पता हो तो यू कैन टेल अस मोर अबाउट दैट. लेकिन रिंकू रिंकू ने अभी कैप्टेंसी ली है, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, एंड ही हैज बीन फेनोमेनल. रिंकू ही है ना? मैं ऐसे नहीं इतने कॉन्फिडेंस में बोल रहा हूँ और कुछ और हो जाए. लेट मी चेक 1 second.
Rinku ye.
रिंकू
But
ही है ना?
U Mumba, I think the best thing for
जी
them
रिंकू
has
ही.
been Guman. Guman has come
गुमान.
back. Guman ki actually,
या
like while we're talking about like performances and injuries and all that, Guman took a knock to the head. वहाँ पे उनकी jaw alignment को कुछ हो गया था. So that helmet looks really ugly, but it keeps him very safe. And like the commentators are talking about it becoming style statement and all. Yeah, kya hai? It's so funny to listen to stuff like this. But with that kind of an injury, this guy is coming and playing the way he is. He's been very good this week. So to see Guman Singh come into form for U Mumba is a very good sign for them. So
बट
at least वो
बट
एक चीज तो
अगेन
ठीक है.
ओवर डिपेंडेंस हुआ जयपुर के खिलाफ, एंड ही फेल्ड. ही स्कोर्ड 4 पॉइंट्स, एंड यू
Yeah,
कैन सी द रिजल्ट्स. सो वही है, सब टीम के साथ वही है. हम हर वीक एक ही बात आके बोलेंगे तो इट विल बी बैड फॉर द व्यूअर्स कि वो एक ही बात रिपीट कर रहे हैं. बट ओवर
सही है.
डिपेंडेंस जितना कम होगा उतना बेटर है इस टीम के लिए. बट ये अभी भी टॉप 3 टॉप 4 की टीम है. अभी कितने अभी 5th पे है, बट ये
Yeah.
पोटेंशियली टॉप 3 की टीम है.
Yeah, exactly. So Rinku working is very good for them. Rinku also has a lot of leadership qualities. So to just
या
see him play well is very nice.
एंड
So
क्रंच
Yumumba
सिचुएशन
के
में ही इज नॉट द वन वो डूब जाते, सकम कर जाते हैं. क्रंच
exactly,
सिचुएशन में आपने
exactly,
देखा है कि वो सुपर टैकल्स निकालना हो, मतलब ही लुक्स वेरी गुड.
exactly. So and the yeah, as we know his quality, like Rinku's quality is obvious, but like with Surinder not being there, I think he's done a fair job in helping the team just stay
या
stable, even though there have been a
और
few losses here and there. That's fine. But just टीम का वो एक बैलेंस मेंटेन करना उससे आता है, इन द सेंस ही नोज हाउ टू रैली हिज प्लेयर्स एंड एवरीथिंग. सो दैट्स नाइस टू सी. What is also important, I think, in this scheme of things is who is Mumbai's second raider. um आशीष है, इवन किरण मगर, ओके, ऑनेस्टली किरण मगर has also been
किरण
having a
मगर,
few good games. यहाँ वहाँ they've been good as well.
आशीष
uh,
आशीष के
हाँ,
साथ आई नोटेड फ्यू थिंग्स कि आशीष इज आल्सो अ वेरी गुड डिफेंडर, क्योंकि जब टाइम
या
आता है ही विल गिव यू वेरी गुड, बट एट द सेम टाइम ही हैज बीन, आई डोंट नो, लाइक ही वाज गुड इन द रेडिंग एज वेल बिफोर, वो हमेशा प्राइमरी टर्शरी सॉरी सेकेंडरी टर्शरी रेडर थे। अब आप देखोगे, मुझे पता नहीं चल रहा है कि उनके साथ दिक्कत क्या है, बट ही हैज बीन टू लेथार्जिक और टू स्लो इन द रेड। अब देखोगे वो चल रहे वो रुक जा रहे हैं, वो रेडर
या
से टैकल होके खा रहे हैं, मतलब बहुत ही वियर्ड है। उनको जो जितने ही अच्छे होते जा रहे हैं टैकल में, वो एक्चुअली उतने ही बुरे होते जा रहे हैं वो रेड्स में। आई डोंट नो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज गोइंग ऑन विद देम, विद
या
हिम
दैट
सॉरी।
माइट बी द प्रॉब्लम, लाइक अगर रोल डिफाइन करके रखोगे देन मे बी ये इशू नहीं आएगा. So depends on what you're focusing on in practice. Are you training him, or are you focusing on both, or are you specializing him as a raider? In this case, I think they need him more as a raider. I know he's useful with his, those blocks and getting people, like pulling them down when they're in the middle of jumps and all that. But you need him to work as a raider more, and especially because they've not been using Haider Ali Ekrami. Also, I don't know why. Injury होगा या कोई निगल होगा शायद, but they've not been using him that much. And Jai Bhagwan तो he's been having a prolonged slump after his initial कुछ heroics, उसके बाद वो उतना अच्छा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. So I would expect them to like mold Ashish to at least raid for a while now. कम से कम गुमान की इंजरी के साथ अगर वो इतना खेल रहे हैं, then the sensible thing to do would be to give him some support. Otherwise points नहीं
आई
आएंगे.
गेस आशीष के साथ मे बी दे आर ग्रूमिंग हिम फॉर अ बेटर डिफेंडर, क्योंकि और कोई रीजन मुझे लगता नहीं है। क्योंकि आशीष, अगर आपको याद होगा, ही हैज बीन गुड। उसने अकेले दम पे 2-3 मैचेस अकेले दम पे एज इन रेडिंग में उनको ऑब्वियसली
Yeah,
सपोर्ट मिलता रहा, इधर जय भगवान। और ये टीम के साथ अच्छी बात क्या है कि डिफेंस तो सॉलिड है इनका, कभी नहीं चलता है, दैट इज डिफरेंट, बट इनके पास 3 क्वालिटी रेडर्स हैं जो कि जिसमें दो दो तो हमेशा चलते हैं। तो अब दो में से अगर एक ही चलेगा तो दिक्कत आ रही है। आशीष चलते थे तो जय भगवान चलते थे, कभी गुमान नहीं चल रहे थे। अगर गुमान चलते तो आशीष चलते, फिर जय भगवान। लेकिन अब क्या हो रहा है, अब एक ही चल रहा है। तो लेकिन फिर भी इस तभी 3 में से 2 मुकाबले इन्होंने जीते हैं। तो हम ज्यादा बात करके कोई फायदा है नहीं। ऑल्सो देयर
yeah.
इज अ गाय कॉल्ड आर्मी बॉय, वो प्रदीप नरवाल के लगता है बहुत बड़े फैन है। 3-4 मैसेज डाल चुके हैं उन्होंने अभी तक
रुको रुको,
प्रदीप नरवाल
बिफोर वी
के
गेट
लिए।
देयर आदित्य सेज मुंबा के साथ थर्ड रेडर की प्रॉब्लम भी है. हैदर अली और जय भगवान को किस लिए रखा है, डोंट नो. हैदर अली, आई डोंट नो व्हाई दे आर नॉट प्लेइंग हिम. आई एम श्योर इट्स एन इंजरी थिंग. अदरवाइज ही वाज पार्ट ऑफ द, इफ नॉट स्टार्टिंग 7, एटलीस्ट इन द स्क्वाड, मैच स्क्वाड. सो वो पता नहीं. जय भगवान का तो बुरे दिन ही चल रहे हैं, देखते हैं कि क्या होता है. बट यू आर राइट, अभी गुमानी अकेले अकेले सब कर रहे हैं. And Ashish is there, so they might want to groom him, like what you're saying, Mayank. It looks like he's doing more defense than raiding, but they need a second and third raider very, very
Yeah.
urgently. So how they do that is something that we'll have to see. Okay, we've got 3 minutes to touch the 2 hour mark, so we're gonna wrap up with UP Yodhas. And sahi baat, army boy dot in dot की comma, okay, I don't know, but army boy आप बहुत सही बोल रहे हो. Pardeep Narwal 22 rate points, Dabang Delhi versus UP Yodha, thumbs up into, okay, how many ever that is, okay, but absolutely that is the perfect way to end this live chat. Pardeep Narwal looked like the Pardeep Narwal of old
Yeah.
in this match, and thank God for that. PKL needs that. PKL needs him to perform, and he did that in a match when Surinder Gill was not there. So it was 22 points from him. The next best raider was 7 points, Rohit Tomar.
एंड यू नो
So
व्हाट इज द बेस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ द मैच, आखिरी 10 मिनट में शायद उनके 1 या 2 पॉइंट थे प्रदीप
उसको
नरवाल के।
निकाला गया था ना
तो
उसके बाद,
हाँ,
Pardeep
उसकी तो
को,
कोई
because the
जरूरत ही
job
नहीं
was
थी यार,
done.
इतने, या एग्जैक्टली। सो इतना क्लिनिकल परफॉर्मेंस था। तो आप सोच लो कि पहले 20 मिनट में वो बंदा 22 पॉइंट लेके जा रहा है, एंड ही
Exactly.
स्टार्टेड ऑन अ परफेक्ट नोट। उन्होंने डुबकी के साथ स्टार्ट किया, एक परफेक्ट
Yeah.
नोट के साथ स्टार्ट किया।
Yeah.
4-4 पॉइंट के उन्होंने 2 रेड लिए, दोनों बार उन्होंने क्लीन अप एक्ट में दोनों प्लेयर्स को लेके गए। एक में तो आई रिमेम्बर दो दो डिफेंडर्स थे, ऑलमोस्ट उनको टैकल कर लिया था, पर वो 10 सेकंड तक वो ही केप्ट ऑन ट्राइंग, एंड इवेंचुअली उनका ग्रिट और परसिवरेंस काम कर गया और वो लेके गए पॉइंट। सो या, एंड दे आर द बिगेस्ट गेनर्स इन दिस वीक। 6 पॉइंट का
Exactly.
उन्होंने जंप लिया है, 3 में 3 विन। तो जो यूपी योद्धा के बारे में हम उतना बात नहीं कर रहे थे पिछले वीक्स में, क्योंकि अगेन टीम अच्छी थी, परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे थे। सुरेंद्र के वाज द ओनली मैन। बीच में प्रदीप नरवाल का एक अच्छा पैच आया था जहां 3 में से 3 उन्होंने सुपर आप देखोगे अगर प्रदीप नरवाल को, ही हैज 138 पॉइंट्स बट 5 सुपर 10 है। तो आप देखोगे जिस मैच में वो जाते हैं तो इट्स लाइक वो वो ब्लंट करके रख देते हैं सामने वाले डिफेंस को, 22 पॉइंट, 16 पॉइंट, 18 पॉइंट। पर जब नहीं चलते हैं तब नहीं चलते हैं वाली बात भी हो
या
जाती है।
एंड दैट यू कैन सी दिस वीक इटसेल्फ, तेलुगु टाइटंस के अगेंस्ट सिर्फ 2 या 3 पॉइंट थे। यूपी योद्धास के अगेंस्ट ही हैड 8 पॉइंट्स एंड देन डायरेक्टली 22 इन दिस मैच।
इफ
बट
आई एम
दैट
नॉट
ऑल्सो कम्स
रॉन्ग
टू
अगेंस्ट तेलुगु टाइटंस, उनको बहुत ज्यादा बार टच किया जा रहा था, रेडर्स
या
रेडर्स उनको टच
या
करके बाहर बैठा रहे थे।
पॉइंट
तो
निकाल रहे थे।
हाँ, मोर देन ही वाज फेलिंग इन डिफेंस, इन रेडिंग। वो डिफेंस में आउट हो रहे थे।
दैट्स राइट। 17 सेकंड तक कोशिश करके निकले थे प्रदीप नरवाल, हाँ जी, सही बात है। एंड रोहित की 4 पॉइंट्स की रेड उसको भी नहीं भूल सकते हैं, रोहित एक्चुअली नहीं भूल सकते हैं। रोहित हैज बीन वन ऑफ द मोर
ओह
इंटरेस्टिंग
या
टैलेंट्स
या
फ्रॉम
या
यूपी Udas this year.
फॉर श्योर,
And if you look at the
फॉर
fact
श्योर।
that he is doing this when he's got Surinder Gill, who's just been getting points after points after points in the beginning, and now Pardeep is doing well, the fact that he's also able to put in good performances speaks a lot about Rohit. And वो बहुत धीरे धीरे बहुत सहमा सा रहता है, but he does his work and comes out. So that's very interesting. It's a very interesting talent
I
for us to
still
watch.
remember against Bengal Warriors, he raided 5 times. He scored 10
Yeah,
points in that 5 point in 5 raids.
yeah,
एक बोनस
yeah,
के साथ एक टच पॉइंट, एक बोनस के साथ एक टच पॉइंट, लेते गया। अगर वहां से मनिंदर वाज द वन, वो दूसरे बंदे को आउट करते जा रहे थे, बट ही वाज अ सोलो
yeah.
मैन।
Rohit was
उन्होंने
the guy this side.
मेक श्योर किया कि वो बहुत ही इजीली मैच जीते। शायद जीता था या ड्रॉ, शायद ड्रॉ हुआ था वो एंड में जाके, इफ आई एम नॉट
Draw
रॉन्ग।
था 41-41. Hmm.
या
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been an interesting turn of events for UP Yodha because now they've come to fourth place in the points table, which is absolutely brilliant. But they need to continue. They need to continue sort of going at this pace. Unka ek aur, I think what works for them is because earlier, so if you talk to any of Pardeep's old coaches, they'll tell you कि Pardeep doesn't really follow his fitness regime before the season begins
but he
because
looks so fit
इसके
now.
बाद
Like
PKL के
he
बाद he looks fit now, exactly. So it's been 6 weeks, no, 6 weeks you're in like a proper schedule now. If you talk to Pardeep, he says हाँ मन ही नहीं करता है शुगर ये सब खाने का because season के बीच में है, ये हो रहा है वो हो रहा है. So he's in the zone right now, so I think we can expect a lot more. Pardeep wants to tick off that 1600 points or so he has said, 1400 होने के बाद.
yeah.
So let's see if that happens. They've got what, 9 odd games left, and if they make it to the playoffs, you have a couple of games more from there. So देखते हैं कि Pardeep क्या करता है. It will be really great for PKL if Pardeep gets back to form, and to see Pardeep and Surinder sort of loot together will be very very nice to watch. So if that happens or not, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much our sort of long discussion from this week. Mayank, let's end with this. If you're like sort of looking forward to a game from next week, which is that going to be?
Uh, One is UP Others versus Jaipur, which is day before, day after tomorrow, 19th को है.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
again, Pardeep and Surinder. Okay, what was the reason Surinder was not playing? Does he have some niggle or something
Injury,
of that sort?
injury. He's carrying a
Okay,
niggle.
so
Yeah.
but we'll see if Surinder, even though if Surinder नहीं भी आते हैं तो UP Others looks very sorted as of
No,
now.
but see, like what Shubham is saying, Pardeep's performances are inconsistent. सही है. Like
which
even
is
इस
which,
हफ्ते
which
में
is
ही अगर आप
that
देखें तो two
see
eight twenty two.
that's what we are telling, no, कि उनके पास 5 सुपर 10 है एंड उसी में 130 पॉइंट्स है। तो अब सोच लो कि जो कंसिस्टेंट प्लेयर है जैसे भरत हो गए, अर्जुन हो गए, या अभी तो नवीन को नहीं बोलेंगे कंसिस्टेंट, गिवन गिवन दैट हिज स्टेचर, उनका क्या परफॉर्मेंस रहा है, फिर भी ही आल्सो हैज 10 सुपर 8। सो आप उस अगर उस कंपैरिजन में देखो तो ही इज स्टिल ऑन द टॉप 5। प्रदीप इनकंसिस्टेंट रहे हैं लेकिन इफेक्टिव भी रहे हैं। जिस मैच में वो परफॉर्म करते हैं उस मैच में ही मेक श्योर कि सामने वाली टीम के पास कोई मौका ही नहीं छोड़े। सो दैट्स अ गुड थिंग। सो या जयपुर भी जयपुर थर्ड एंड यूपी फोर्थ, 3 पॉइंट का डिफरेंस है, तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी गुड कंटेस्ट। द सेकंड वन इज बेंगलोर वर्सेस पुणे, क्योंकि फर्स्ट
Yeah,
की
that's
लड़ाई
going to be interesting.
देखने वाली बात है। एंड किसी
Yeah,
ने
yeah.
कमेंट में ये भी बताया था कि दोनों के बीच में असली टॉपर, टेबल टॉपर कौन होगा, सो वी विल हैव टू सी दैट। एंड द थर्ड वुड बी यू मुंबा वर्सेस तमिल, not because Tamil is my
Of course.
favorite team, come on,
Of course. I knew
just
it.
because की दो अच्छी डिफेंसिव यूनिट है, इसीलिए that's it.
Perfect. Actually, yeah, I agree. Pune and Bengaluru is one game. Yeah, I actually agree with your picks for this week. I'm particularly excited about Pune, Bengaluru just because of how it went last time. So this time there's a clear difference. Ki Fazal,
Yeah,
the Iranians are here, so let's see what happens there.
yeah.
Whether they
Navy
actually
Paksh bhi
manage
hai,
to win it or
देखेंगे.
they'll. हाँ नहीं, I have a feeling they'll bungle it. I'm telling you, I have a feeling Pune will have a dip now. मैंने ये पहले ही बोल दिया था, so I have a feeling that'll come. So let's see if that happens or not. आदित्य asks, मेरे आप दोनों सीनियर्स से, अरे बाबा, लास्ट क्वेश्चन है कि आप दोनों की टॉप 6 टीम कौन कौन होने वाली है. Mayank, why don't you give us your prediction? We'll see if it comes true.
I will reserve it. No, no, no.
No, no, no. There's no safe way out of this.
I
I'm
will
going to give
reserve
you
it
my
for
top six
later.
as of now also. Go for it. It's okay. If it goes wrong, it's fine. Go for it. What does it look like? Who do you think
Uh,
will make it there?
okay, like what does it look like or what does I want? So there's a clear difference. So what does I
No,
want
obvious.
or what does it look like?
See, what do you want? Matlab, then Bengal Warriors or Tamil Talevas will win the league. We are not asking that. ठीक है? हाँ, we are not asking that.
ये क्या बात हुई
अच्छा
यार,
रुको
ये क्या बात हुई?
रुको एक मिनट. I'll give you my top six. ठीक है? What I
No,
think
no,
the
no, no,
top
no,
six
no,
will
no,
look
no,
like
no.
for the
Then
knockouts.
I'll go first. I'll go first. I'll go first.
Why? Why? Why?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll go first.
Go ahead. Who's
Okay,
your top
so
six?
Puneri, Bengaluru,
तेरा कनेक्शन कट
Patna.
हो रहा है. पुणे तेरे मुंह से आ ही नहीं रहा है,
Okay,
देखो.
three. अरे, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, better now. It was cutting.
Hello,
It was
hello,
cutting.
hello.
Better now.
Hi.
बोलो बोलो
Oh, no, no. I was
बोलो.
telling Pune is my first team. I guess वो टेबल टॉप करेंगे जिस क्वालिटी की टीम है. बेंगलुरु on number 2,
Hmm,
जयपुर, पटना, तमिल and U Mumbai. These are the 6 team which I want and which I think की top 6 में जाएगी. We'll see क्या होता
fair
है.
enough. Fair enough. I can't disagree. I think Bengaluru, Pune.
Random order में
Yeah. No, so the issue is Bengaluru, Pune, U Mumbai, I think are sure top three, like top six, surely. Like they'll definitely be there. UP Yodhas, because of the inconsistency, if
I wrote off UP. I wrote off UP. Yeah,
yeah, same.
yeah,
UP.
for the
So the
same reason,
teams I don't think
inconsistency.
will make it are like for sure, I don't think will make it is I think UP Yodhas, it's still half half.
Telugu,
But I don't think Bengal Warriors, Haryana Steelers, and Gujarat Giants
Gujarat.
have much of a chance. Like among the three, I see teams going off. Bengal Warriors need like a full overhaul if they want to make it. But Tamil Talevas, I think, can finish in the top six. Tamil Talevas, Patna Pirates. I hope they do. अच्छा होगा. It'll be great for
So
the league if they
wait,
manage to
once
finish in the
again.
top six.
So your top 6 and my top 6 is same then.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't. Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much.
top 3. You Mumbai, you said Jaipur.
No, I think they'll dip. I think they'll dip.
Jaipur will dip. So who's your
Yeah,
sixth team
I think
then?
they'll dip.
So
So
who's your
my
sixth team
sixth
then?
will be probably. I expect Dabang Delhi to make a comeback. I expect.
Oh, the bump.
होगा कि नहीं,
Okay.
yeah, just to keep them in the outside, like give them an outside chance. I don't want to give up on them
Yeah,
yet
defending
because they have
champions.
good
Yeah.
ratings. Just purely if Naveen, Vijay and Ashu can work together, just purely if we okay defense ki okay gaye, they've gone home, they've taken a vacation, fine, but if these three can start working, then that itself can do miracles for this team. So if that happens or not is something we'll have to see. Dekhte hain.
So Bengaluru,
हाँ
Pune.
हाँ आदित्य, आंख मत दिखाओ यार. जस्ट लिटिल बिट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस फॉर दबंग दिल्ली बस.
Okay,
होगा कि
no,
नहीं वी डोंट
no.
नो.
To
हाँ बोलो.
wrap it off, Bengaluru. You just said Tamil, Patna, U Mumbai. For me, it's going to be क्या था यार? मैं तो भूल ही गया. हाँ, Jaipur. And for you, it's going to be Dabang. So Dabang, Jaipur में we'll
या
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
he's right. Delhi ka defense nahi जाने देगा top six. That even I think, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. They have
Yeah.
a quality team, even though they are not performing properly. So I'd like to give them an outside chance. ये शायद बदलेगा अगला हफ्ता जब हम बैठ के बात करेंगे. ये बदल जाएगा. Don't worry. ठीक है. Okay, so we've been speaking for 2 hours and 8 minutes. Thank you to everybody who's joined in today. We had quite at least 3-4 of you who were sitting with us throughout the duration of this. Thank you. Shubham,
Yeah.
Aditya,
It
all
was
you
very
guys, हम
nice.
लोग हम लोग it's nice to talk to you all when we have live streams like this going. So please join us every Thursday at 7 o'clock. मयंक रोज बैठ के कबड्डी के मैचेस लाइव ब्लॉग भी करते हैं, तो अगर आपको और कोई चीज़ है या काम है या पढ़ना है, then you guys can obviously tune into our live blogs to keep up with our coverage as well.
Also, you can
We'll try
like,
and put
share,
out
comment, and give your feedbacks, please. We need
feedback.
that.
Exactly. Exactly. Please drop feedback so we know how to do better and to give you guys better Kabaddi content. Until then, thank you. Good night. It's the Hyderabad leg starting tomorrow. So more matches. We're finally coming down to the last month of PKL. So देख लेंगे क्या होता है. 17th. December 17th is the final. Oh, right. December 17th is the final, by the way, if you guys do not know yet. Uh, Obviously, fixtures to ho gaye the, but the final and the knockouts will happen in Mumbai. So if you can, please go and watch these games. They are a completely different experience live. So agar ho sake, to please go and watch them. And keep coming back to us at 7 p.m. on Thursday, where we will continue to fight over Nabi Baksh, Delhi Defense, यूपी योद्धा तमिल
For sure.
तलवास के जो फैन बॉयज हैं ये सब विल कंटिन्यू टू फाइट
हाँ,
अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स इन द वीक्स टू कम.
पुनेरी पलटन की फैन गर्ल्स बोल रहे
ओ
हैं,
हाँ जी.
चलिए बाय बाय.
हाँ जी. आई एम अ जर्नलिस्ट और मेरा सोर्स आप लोग हो. अरे बाप रे. ओके. गुड लक टू यू आदित्य. गुड लक. चलो. ओके. टेक केयर एवरीबॉडी. स्टे सेफ एंड वील मीट यू नेक्स्ट थर्सडे.
बाय बाय.